guys with me. We've got the captain, Kelvin Efon, 1998 hoopster and footballer. And, of course, we've got J.W. Madden as well with us. We want to talk to you this morning, hear your thoughts on Arizona basketball and this opening win that they had on Monday against Texas Christian. You can get in on the program by texting or calling 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. The show's streaming on a number of different platforms in terms of video. We're on Twitch. We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube. Follow us, Wildcats Radio 1290, on any of those platforms to watch the show today. You can interact as well with the show on Twitter at Wildcats 1290. So head on over to there. We've got some great analysis from the other night that you can watch, as well as we'll have our preview up here shortly for today's game as well. You can hear in there the head coach of the Cincinnati Bearcats, Wes Miller, and hear what he thinks about your Arizona Wildcats. You'll hear from him on this program coming up a little bit later. In fact, let's tell you what we've got in store for you over the course of the next 3 hours.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
We will review the win over TCU 90-81 from Monday night. Get you set for Cincinnati today. It is our view from courtside coming up a little bit later. Reggie Geary will join us. He'll be on the radio analysis this week with Brian Jeffries. And Reggie knows a little thing about beating Cincinnati. We'll take you down memory lane today, back to 1996 and that famed buzzer beater up in Phoenix. Our spotlight on a cat will be the point guard today, Jaden Bradley. Scott Springer from the Cincinnati Enquirer will deliver your scouting report. Best bets, courtesy of the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook, U of A and Underdog today in Cincinnati by 2.5 points. The over-under at 147.5. We'll dive into all of that coming up as we've got you till noon today, and then Brian Jeffries and Reggie Geary will take over at noon right up until tip-off today at 12:30. And this is, I believe, a national television game today. It's on ESPN2. So on the Deuce today, you'll be able to see it. You don't have to stream it or go through any of those things that we've been talking about over the course of the last 2 weeks. Guys, the road, the Big 12 road. We talked about it on Monday night. There were 3 ranked teams that played on the road. 2 of them got victories. Iowa State went on the road. They blew out, I believe, Oklahoma State, or maybe it was, I forget which one. It was Houston that might have blown out Oklahoma State. But Houston and Iowa State got road wins. The team that did not come up with the road win was Cincinnati, losing at Kansas State. So they're going to be chomping at the bit today. And what I'm told is going to be a pretty raucous Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, not to start 0-2 in conference play.
Oh, they're going to do whatever they have to do to get a victory today. I know all about Cincinnati basketball. I was recruited heavily by them. Different regime, but same type of attitude, same type of physical play, athletes all over the floor, real physical defensively, and just try to shoot a lot of threes. They really spread you out. I think it's going to be an exciting game today. Today we're going to really get a chance to see, what Arizona is going to look like on the road in the Big 12.
Yeah, guys, I mean, we all remember, Kelvin, I remember big time how good Cincinnati was when we were coming up. What if I told you, DK, people might not think of the Bearcats as one of the preeminent basketball programs in the country. They got the 12th most wins all time in the history of college basketball. Right up there in percentage-wise, too, just behind the U of A as far as all-time winning percentage for a program. Really, really passionate crowd. If you watch any highlights from them playing home games, clearly when that team goes on runs, they like that backdoor lob, Kelvin. So when they get that crowd hyped up, Arizona better be prepared for some angry fans who are not happy with the last game and the way that the Bearcats handled themselves last time out.
So Bobby Huggins came knocking on your door back in the day?
Oh, yeah. Well, you got to realize I'm from Dallas. I mean, you know.
Kelvin was a defensive specialist in high school, right?
I mean, locked down. I think that's some of the reason why Coach Olsen put me in that game against them, too, because he remembered, you know, they wasn't in a battle because Cincinnati wasn't really in the picture. But they got 2 of my teammates from my AAU team played for them, started for them with some real good players for them. And then Kenyon Martin, I grew up with Kenyon Martin. He was behind me a year or two growing up as a kid. I remember I dunked on him one time. He was a freshman, actually, when I was a senior, so it don't really count. But he ended up being somebody great. But, no, Dallas had a real connection with guys coming from Dallas and playing in Cincinnati. Tough guys.
Interesting.
Tough guys.
Tommy Lloyd, happy to get that win on Monday. It was a introduction to Big 12 basketball.
It's basketball. I mean, Big 12 is going to be amazing, but, you know, we had some amazing conference games the last couple of years in the Pac-12 as well. So, they're heavyweight battles. And, you know, I thought our guys did a good job getting off to a good start. And, you know, maybe, you know, against some, you know, lesser opponents, you know, you can kind of get that little run, then make the next run and get that gap. We were just never able to do that. And so, you know, got to give a ton of credit to TCU for hanging around and not making it easy. And, I mean, our offense obviously was clicking, but it had to be, or you know, that the outcome could have been different.
31 points for Caleb. I'm sorry, 33. Don't let me shortchange him 2 points. 33 points for Caleb Love in that game on 11 of 17 from the floor. He knocked down 5 threes. He also had 7 rebounds and dished out 7 assists. Did not turn the ball over in the game. Caleb crediting the team as a whole, though, for opening Big 12 play with a win over the Horned Frogs.
We stayed poised, and I think that's how we control the game. You know, I give credit to JB for running the show and keeping everybody in place. Coach Lloyd, he did a great job of, you know, calling the plays, and Coach Murph, I give a shout out to him for, you know, his scout. He had us prepared for, you know, since the break, since we got back, and so we was ready. We was ready for this game, and, you know, it showed out on the floor today.
JB, he mentioned Jaden Bradley, the point guard, 6 assists for the 3rd straight game. He's had 6 assists in the last 3 games. For the Arizona Wildcats. Arizona as a whole, 28 assists in that game, 8 off the bench by KJ Lewis.
Just, you know, trusting my teammates, you know, putting them in the right spots when I get the opportunity to. And I got full faith in them to, you know, to make big shots and, you know, finish plays and vice versa. I know they got the same belief in me. When it's their time to, you know, get an assist or whatever the case may be. But been emphasizing this week on, you know, picking the ball up with a little bit more force and playing with, you know, fundamentals that Coach wants us to play with.
Wildcats are averaging, guys, 18 assists on the season. They've kind of been back up in their 20-plus over the course of what is now a 3-game win streak. 28 against TCU, 28 against Central Michigan, 23 against Samford. You keep, again, that's Tommy Lloyd basketball.
Yep.
That's what wins and has allowed him to win so many games in these first 4 seasons.
Well, I think it goes back to the guy whose name you brought up at the beginning, Jaden Bradley. I said it earlier in the year. A point guard looking to score. Now everybody's looking to score. But when your point guard is looking to make the extra pass, even when he has a layup, even when he can go, Jaden Bradley, he's a McDonald's All-American. He can go by his guy every time and probably get a shot. But something that Coach taught me a long time ago, when you know that, you can do that anytime. So set the other guys up, get the other guys going, and then pick your spots where you get yours. He can still average 14 points, but you have to do it in a way where you're, like he's doing now, you're making the extra pass, you're getting guys involved, which also in turns, other guys start to copy that, mimic that. They start doing the same thing. And next thing you know, you're back to the 20 assist games and multiple wins.
Yeah, that's such a great point, Kelvin, because it's so contagious when you see guys going one-on-one. We saw that a lot in the Atlantis tournament where maybe the offense bugged down. Guys didn't really know each other super well, still trying to figure each other out in that flow offense. Maybe a little bit too much one-pass, one-on-one action in the half-court set. These last 3 games, guys, we've seen it back to that hockey assist style basketball where it's not, you know, one guy getting 8. Sure, KJ off the bench, or KJ, incredible vision in that last game out. But it was multiple guys. Those 28 assists come from 6, 7 guys on that team all looking for each other, you know, being unselfish with that ball. That's what we known from Tommy Lloyd style basketball, and getting back to that makes that offense, Kelvin, look real easy when it's not all individual actions.
The head coach on the Wildcats getting back to high assist basketball.
I mean, that's how we love to play, and assist is something we never talk about, but playing the right way is something we talk about. We want ball movement, we want player movement, we want guys to have high IQs, we want guys playing with great fundamentals, and that was challenging at some points this year, and I obviously could have done a better job coaching it, but it's not like I changed my philosophy, So now I think that there's more synergy between what the staff's looking for and what the players are doing on the court.
Yeah, I mean, it's taken a little bit for these guys to kind of get in tune with each other over the course of obviously the first 12 games of this season. But again, now you've got to take this back out on the road where the Wildcats have had some struggles when they went down, obviously, to Wisconsin to start the season, when they went down to the Bahamas and lost 2 out of 3. It's been pretty much home cooking since then with the one game up in Phoenix, but now a true road game once again. The thing that you got to like is kind of the way that the Wildcats finished that game on Monday, taking TCU's every punch and holding them off to win by 9. Caleb Love really liking the way that the team played, winning basketball down the stretch.
Tight in our huddles, and kind of the message was, stay poised, stay together, and we got to be the most connected team in these last, I think it was last 8 minutes when we said that, and that's exactly what we did. We was the most connected team. We played together. Like I said, although we was taking punches, we was throwing ours too, and like I said, we just stayed poised, and I think that's the key to us winning the games, and especially tight games in a Big 12 where it's gonna be tough, and calls might not go our way. We just got to stay together. We got to stay poised.
And Kelvin, we've talked a bit about offensive struggles, but really it's the last 5 minutes, right? Look at that UCLA game, last 9 minutes, right? No field goals in the last 9 minutes. They lose by, 3 points? It's closing games out, Kelvin, getting good shots, not turning the ball over down the stretch of games, making winning plays down the stretch. And this team, might be, 5-1 against quad 1 teams if they just those last 5 minutes of those games. They played a lot of close games this year, learn how to come together as a team and close.
And that's it. They're still figuring it out because you have we've had 3 different starting lineups, maybe 4. We have a key injury with a guy that we thought was going to be the foundation of the team. So you basically, you not starting over from scratch, but you having to go back in there and go back into the cupboard and try to find something there. So I just feel like that these guys are still learning each other, and I think it's going to be a huge test today because this is going to be the first time this team, as the way they're playing with the different KJ Lewis coming off the bench, Awaka legitimately the starting center, Vazar is legitimately the first big off the bench now. This is this team's first real opportunity to go compete on the road versus a team like this. So these guys are going to have to use that home game victory versus a team that we have to remember that was short a couple real important guys from their team, right? So the loss is good for your morale. But the reality of it is you're playing a hungry team today, Cincinnati, that's coming off a loss, and it is going to take all those qualities of what Caleb said that they did to win that game to pull off a victory in Cincinnati.
Tommy Lloyd also loving the way that his Wildcats were able to close out Monday's win over TCU.
We haven't maybe handled some of these close games, as good as we could have, and I think there's a little more certainty now in what we want to do and how we want to play. I thought the guys had great poise. And, we've talked a lot about that. These aren't going to be, 20-0 runs. You're not going to be up 30 at half. I mean, those days are done. So we've got to get comfortable being in close games and comfortable fighting and fighting back. So I thought our guys showed a ton of poise today. And that's what it's going to take on a night in and night out basis.
Well, clearly poise was the talking point, I think, in the post-game locker room, because we not only heard that from Tommy Lloyd, but we heard that from Caleb Love. We heard that from KJ Lewis after the game about how, hey, it's going to take poise down the stretch to win games like this in the Big 12.
Yeah, well, go back to just that UCLA game I was just talking about. You think about the poise aspect of that, Kelvin, shot selection and really being strong with the ball, not having the ball ripped directly out of your hands at the top of the key like we saw late in that game. Those are what it takes in a close game. And guess what? A lot of these games, DK started the show talking about the Big 12 and how maybe there were some results the last few days that people did not expect. That's going to be the case the whole season. There's a lot of teams. There's no easy win in this league. So tight games, Kelvin, Coming down to that last couple of minutes of winning time, that's what it's going to take to be on the top side of this bracket, on the top side of the conference at the end of the season.
And you know, the toughest thing is when you're getting down to the end of those games is understanding what type of shots to take and who should take them and when they should take them. And if you go back and look at the stats from the last game when they just beat TCU, there wasn't guys shooting ridiculous threes that shouldn't been doing it. And to me, the shot selection was great. Caleb Love shot 11 threes. I mean, he's always going to always say, you know, good shooters going to shoot about 10 of them so they can try to figure out. Because you might miss your first 4, but then you make, 5 out of your next 6, so all of a sudden I'm 50%, right? So, you kind of got to, take that, especially when that guy's playing downhill. So I just think that a lot of that was guys respecting and trusting that Caleb is that guy for them, and they kind of played off of him, and it opened up other angles for the Loves. I mean for the KJ Lewis's and Vazars of the world.
The Wildcat men are not the only team in action today. We've got women's basketball as well coming up at noon. They're on the road for the second time in Big 12 conference play. They're all the way the Wildcat men went to Cincinnati. The Wildcat women are all the way down in Florida today, taking on Central Florida. We'll dive into that a little bit later coming up as well. One of the other things that came out of the game on Monday night for Arizona was the play of sophomore, well, really third-year sophomore, third-year sophomore forward, I should say, Henry Vasar, who had 15 points on 6 of 7 shooting to go along with 6 rebounds and 4 assists. He continues to emerge as a strong player with the loss of Moteus Krivas, who Tommy said after the game is going to be out for the remainder of the season. Henry Vasar on how his improved play has been a progression.
I feel like this comes with confidence. Like, you just start playing better, so you feel better. You be more aggressive. You just play like you want to play all the time. You don't play scared. That helps a lot.
Yeah, Henry Vasar out of Estonia, going to be a very important piece on this team.
That progression, Kelvin, doing it in practice, doing it with your boys or whatever is one thing, but doing it with the lights on and then doing it again and again and again and again, that's that progression of being consistent and finishing inside, knocking down those open threes, all those things he's been showing recently.
And you know what, man? Sometimes when you realize that you're actually going to play, it's a different
mentally,
motivation.
right? Mentally, your approach mentally, like
right,
if you know, yeah.
Right, and it settles you down a little bit. You don't try to do. I thought when he used to come into the games and not knowing how much, when it was the 3-4 man big man rotation, I thought he would try to do too much too fast. But when you know you're going to get some minutes, you can kind of come in and relax and play. Because I remember, again, when I used to play and I used to get in the game, I missed a lot of shots because I got right in and tried to get up some shots. I thought this is my way to show that I deserve to be on the floor. I got to score like Damon. That's not what the coach is looking for from you. Get the ball moving, play the right way, and if it comes to you in a position where we practice, okay, you can score that. But I think, to me, that's the biggest hurdle sometimes. And if you go back and look at some of the earlier games from Vasar, and even if you look at a guy like Del Orso, you end up messing up because you don't know how many minutes you're gonna get, and you try to force some things, and it doesn't look right. And the coach said, all right, I got to go with the guys that I'm gonna get the regular minutes with. So I think Vasar is relaxing because he understands that his role. And I'll add this one other thing: that the way that he played physical. I love it. I'd rather him foul out, and I'd rather us have to calm him down than to have to look for him to be tougher, especially in this conference, because these referees and these teams are not gonna, let off of him any. So he's gonna have to be physical, and I just love that attitude versus TCU. I want to see it in every game in conference.
All right, it is Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, Wildcats, Bearcats, Battle of the Cats in Cincinnati. Tip-off today, 12:30 Tucson time. Much more straight ahead, along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams Southern Arizona, the Window Depot. And by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. No appointment necessary, call ahead's welcome, or just stop by any of the 14 area locations.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live. When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, best price, biggest inventory.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Quick, she's over here. I don't know. I just found her like this.
Yeah, she's banged up, but she'll be fine.
Oh, thank God. What can I do?
Just need the keys. And, sir?
Yeah?
Your car's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Mobile detailing from Recon Auto Detailing. Tired of wear and tear on your vehicle or just tired of cleaning it yourself? We'll come to you. Book with us online and see why we have over 1,100 5-star reviews. Recon Auto Detailing. ReconDetail.com.
Do you often worry you left your garage door open? With the LiftMaster Garage Door Opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit KaiserGarage.com to learn more.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Shot blocked by Uday. Henry got it back to Love. 3-ball straight away. He can't miss. Another Lexus of Tucson Charity 3 for Caleb Love. 27 for Love now.
Our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game is brought to you by the Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
I mean, we're fired up. We got a great road trip. I mean, come on, you're going all the way back to the East Coast. You're playing Cincinnati. You're playing West Virginia. I'm assuming both fan bases are going to be excited that Arizona's coming to their home gym. And, I mean, what a great opportunity for us to go out and continue to prove ourselves in the Big 12.
Fifth all-time meeting today between the Arizona Wildcats and the Cincinnati Bearcats. Arizona has never lost to Cincinnati. They beat them at the Maui Invitational in Tommy Lloyd's first season. That was when Maui O was born, and the Wildcats had that great run to the title. By the way, Maui O was back in the lineup for Indiana earlier this week as they knocked off Rutgers.
No more happy hour.
Yeah, so I think everything's all smoothed out there. He had a big ball game in that win. The Wildcats defeated the Bearcats 101-93 at that Maui Invitational back in 2022. We mentioned the game that everybody remembers, Sunday, February the 11th, 1996. Miles Simon, a three-quarter court shot. We'll let you hear several calls of that coming up a little bit later, including from the legendary Brian Jeffries, who will call today's game against Cincinnati.
But DK,
yeah,
we don't win that game without my one bucket and my one assist.
There you go.
You take that away. And I had some good defense on the helicopter, Levitt. Which was a real good player that they had.
They had a lot of good players, Kelvin. That was a stacked Cincinnati team. I think they had like 4 or 5 NBA guys.
So I had to throw it out there.
There you go. Kelvin Ifan is doing his thing back in that game. Well, let's hear your memories. What are your memories of that day in Phoenix?
Well, I was very excited, for the game because, again, like I said, I always had friends that played on the team. The coaching staff had, high regard for me, and, I like their style of play as well. Physical style of play. Coach Huggins, just my type of guy. So, was very excited to get a chance to play them. And, I remember Coach, kind of telling me, be ready to go, be ready to play. Your style of play is perfect for this game. So I was over there ready to go. And got an opportunity to get in that game, man. And, like I said, made a few things happen, played some real good defense. I think I even got a couple rebounds. But, man, seeing Miles hit that shot, man, it was from, got the rebound, turned around, man, took one dribble and threw that thing up. And I saw it going just straight in, man, and that thing hit it made it, and it felt like we won a national championship. I mean, people ran out on the floor, and I think it was Coach Olsen's 500 win.
Yeah, 500th win that day.
So being a part of that history, you kind of could feel it because you're like, man, I'm a Wildcat, like I'm around this. At the time, I'm not getting as much playing time, but I'm still loving being in that type of atmosphere, right? And so, man, it was just cool. Great times, great teammates, great players. And the fan base was there, man. It was rocking. That was like the Phoenix Suns old.
Yeah, the Phoenix, the Memorial Coliseum.
Yeah, right. So it
the
was
old building.
It looked old too. But man, once that thing filled up, man, it was rocking.
Well,
man.
if memory
Great
serves,
time.
That was like number 1 versus number 2, or number 1 versus number 3, something like that. Cincinnati and Arizona were both ranked in the top 5 at the time. You mentioned Levitt. They had Ruben Patterson on that team in addition to, Kenny Martin. So that was a very stacked team for sure. And yeah, I'll never forget that atmosphere, Kelvin. Even coming through the television at the time, it seemed like it meant so much more than an early February game. Like it was because that was back in the day, guys. You mentioned this earlier in the season, DK. Back when Arizona would play those ASU weeks where you had to pick another team to play type of thing. So playing non-conference games that later in the season was rare, but that was a preview of March is what that was. 2 really, really quality teams later in the season. Both understood what they were trying to do. Really, really good basketball game overall. Really intense.
Caleb Love has really come on for your Arizona Wildcats over the course of the last 3 games. 23, 24, and 33 in terms of points, averaging 27 points over the last 3 contests. Tommy Lloyd talked about, again, Caleb's progression. He's talked all season about how he's stuck with him, but admitted this week that, hey, it's been some tough love along the way with Caleb.
I mean, we've had a lot of conversations, and I think that's always understood, with him and I. But that doesn't mean we're not honest. That doesn't mean that I just, rub his shoulders. I'm very honest with him, and you know what? He can handle it. And I thought he started the second half defensively. I think he went for a wild steal and things like that. We'll talk about that. But all in all, I mean, I think, he showed that, he's one of the best players in the country. But to be one of the best players in the country, you got to do it on a night in and night out basis, and hopefully that's what we're trending toward.
And guys, that to me, that's the important thing. I mean, all of this love for love, which has been rekindled over these last 3 games, can go straight out the window if he doesn't perform this week in Cincinnati and West Virginia.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think straight out the window, you know what I mean? But, of course, I mean, because it's a long season, man, I mean, and these teams are geared up to stop Caleb. And it's up to the team, I think, to help him play well. And I think as you can see with all the assist totals now, which we didn't have before, because all that correlates. We wasn't looking to pass like that. I said myself, they wasn't getting Caleb going to me. Caleb was having to take tough shots from deep because he had to take it, because if he passed it, they would go shoot it, right? So now it seems like they're playing around him, and he's more comfortable. Now he has the ball in his hands attacking the rim, and now there's more space to do that. So I think it was more than just Caleb not playing well. I think that I saw him a few times, you know, waiting for other guys to get going. And I'm like, no, that's not your role on this team. His role on this team is Khalid Reeves. You know, I mean, if people can go back and remember, he's the go-to guy. And he has to be aggressive, you know, playing his style of play. He can't just play for the NBA, catch and shoot, right? He has to play and do whatever that is effective in the matchups that he has. So I just think that it was more to it than him just missing shots, a bunch of threes. I think it was, you know, the coach, you know, opening up the floor for him.
I think it's very simple. I think Caleb Love's been listening to Kelvin Ifon saying get inside that three-point line and see one go in first. Because the last 3 or 4 games, and DK has been saying that all season as well, the last 3 or 4 games, guys, Caleb has not settled for those 23, 24-footers for his first 2 or 3 shots. And that's the biggest key for me is he's a rhythm player, Kelvin. I mean, when Caleb Love gets in that rhythm, he's so smooth. He can get to his spots and obviously rising up for those shots within rhythm, but so much more in rhythm when he starts it out with the ball going through the hoop. Get inside that three-point line, Caleb. Keep it going.
And which opens up that free throw line as well. 6 of 6. Remember, he wasn't even getting, I think, the first 9 games, he only had like 8 free throws or something like that. I'm not sure the number. But now he's probably doubled that in the last few games because he's been aggressive.
He's only taken 29 all year.
Say it again?
29 all year, yeah.
Right. And
so
you can't
far.
get to the free throw line, and I guarantee you half of those are in the last 3 games.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And you can't get to the free throw line if you're not attacking downhill, as DK been saying.
Yeah, 6, 3, and 8 in the last 3 games. So that's 17 in the last 3, 26 on the season.
All right, so if people go over to Kelvin Ifon's Twitter account, at K-Rock Desert Storm, he's got a few highlights from that game in 1996 posted up there. I think we got you. Is this you making the move in the lane here, off the edge into the lane for a little runner?
Yes, sir. Right there at the front of the rim, attacking the rim.
And then an assist, I think, and a nice bounce pass assist.
Yeah, that's to my boy Michael Dickinson right there.
All right.
Hey, did you see Reggie Gary on that first one? That was bouncy. Reggie was bouncy, man. I wish I could have went in there and showed my hops on that one, but you know, it was you know, to be able to turn that corner, man, and to get that bucket. Coach would give me those early minutes in that game, man. I really appreciated to be able to be a part of that history.
Wow, that's something. So head on over right now at K-Rock Desert Storm on the Twitter and give that video there some likes. Nice old school picture there of the boys back in the day. We got young Miles, young Jason, Bramlett, and who's the other gentleman? I'm not
Michael Dickerson.
That's Dickerson.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And you know what? We called ourselves the young guns back then, man, and because we knew that we had a special group, man. So you know, I wasn't a part of the national championship the next year because I was on the football team,
right.
You know, becoming a captain and one of the legends over there. But that group, man, it was something about the way that we competed, man. And I'm not surprised every one of those guys played in the NBA, and Miles Simon MVP of the national championship game. I mean, just some great guys, man, and was to me the real, you know, Mike Bibby came, and of course Eugene, and you know, we had oh man, I don't know why I'm forgetting high jumper, what's my guy?
Bennett Davidson.
Ben, I helped recruit him. Why did I from JUCO, I helped recruit him. I was one of the recruits there. But man, those guys, man, you know, was the real heart soul of that team.
We're talking about a little about Caleb Love and just his progression. And again, it's not just scoring. He's averaging 5 rebounds per game over the last 3 games. He's averaging 4 assists per game over the last 3 games. It's a 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio in those 3 games as well for Caleb Love. And really, again, he distributes. Yeah, he's playing well, but he says it's really about this team as a whole playing well over these last 3 games.
We just got to still believe that we're a great team. In the summertime, we felt like we had a great group of guys and that, we could be the best team in the country. Just because we're, struggling early on, it doesn't, shouldn't take our belief away.
Some other numbers over this 3-game stretch for Caleb Love. Shooting overall 59% from the floor. Shooting 39% from 3. So that number as well, back up where you want it, above 35%, close to 40% from three-point land for Caleb Love. That just shows, Tommy Lloyd says that shows you the fighter that Caleb Love is.
I mean, obviously, I'll take it every day. It's going to be a long conference season, but, he deserves that. And, Caleb is, there's a lot of attention put on him, and he's a little bit of a lightning rod. And, my job is to stick with him. I mean, he's my guy, and he's our guy. Sometimes I think that one thing that's not talked about enough is, when you're a guy of Caleb's stature and you have to come back to college, it's not easy. And there's a lot of emotions involved. And when you come back, you want it to go great, you want it to go perfect, and when it doesn't, it's a gut punch. So I think he showed a lot of character in how he's handled it and how he's responded to a situation that, there's expectations and it hasn't gone well. For him to come out and play the way he did and just the way he carried himself was great. But you know what? There's another challenge waiting next week. That's the thing. We got to keep it going.
All right, Cincinnati comes into this game. They are the number 16 team in the country. They have lost just twice against Villanova earlier this season in the non-conference, and then on Monday against Kansas State. And again, this is going to be a tough conference, so you don't want to be in a 0-2 hole coming out of it. Wes Miller, their head coach, asked this week, is this indeed a must-win for Cincinnati coming off that opening loss?
You could create a spin for all 20 league games of why it's the most important thing in the world, and you wouldn't be wrong all year. And I think that's you're playing in one of the elite leagues in college basketball. Everybody's good, every game matters, so the next game's going to feel that important all year long. And that's one of the neat things about competing in a league like this, is they all matter.
That's been our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game. Brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com.
And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every night. It's the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. We'll tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up tonight. Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day, the post-game show. Reggie Geary will join us. We'll let him and Kelvin share memories of 1996 straight ahead. Along with Kelvin and JW Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rockin' K is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 18 model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. LiveRockingK.com. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Hi, this is Peter Costa, former governor of the New York Stock Exchange and proud member of the Advisory Business Council with Meridian Wealth Management. One thing I've learned over 40 years on the floor is the value of a trusting relationship with your financial advisor. After all, everyone is a genius when the markets are going up, but when they drop, that's when the guidance of a professional is most important. For more information about Meridian, call 719-1433 or visit online at meridianwealthllc.com.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Rightway is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 five-star Google reviews, you can trust Rightway to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Right Way today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Looking for unlimited gameplay all season long? Dave & Buster's is introducing the all-new Winter Season Pass. You can pick your perfect pass and play like a Dave & Buster's VIP with unlimited access to over 140 games and deals on sips and bites. Sign up now and take advantage of this incredible deal now through February 28th. Don't forget to stop in Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch specials and grab the all-new Winter Season Pass. There's nowhere better to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's, the best place outside the stadium to see the games this football season.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. No appointment necessary, call ahead's welcome, or just stop by any of the 14 area locations.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Ring in the savings at the Marion Bright sales event at Royal Buick GMC. Jingle all the way with huge savings. Save $14,000 off a new 24 Buick Enclave, or go big and save $16,000 off a new 24 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro Crew Cab, or lease it for $375 a month for 24 months with zero due at signing and all taxes and fees included. Plus, business owners can save even more with federal tax deductions on qualifying vehicles. See dealer for details. B33506, G8449, OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Leases excluded. Lease mileage charge of 20 cents per mile over 10,000 per year. Offers end 1/2/25. Get into a new Buick or GMC this season with nothing out of pocket. The Marion Bright sales event at Royal Buick GMC in the Tucson Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden. It's time now to take you down the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
Take a look at the starting five for the Wildcats, coming in ranked number 15 in the country. Joe McClain, the gunner from outside. Corey Williams, also at forward. Ben Davis, the big man in the middle. Miles Simon with a career high against UCLA 5 games ago. And Reggie Geary, the man who runs the show from the point, maybe the best defender in the entire nation.
Boy, that was a young Mark Jones on that broadcast back in the day. Still calling games for ABC, both college football and college basketball. It was, and I think it was Mark Jones and Terry Gannon were on that broadcast. Terry Gannon, who is a great play-by-play announcer now in his own right, but was the analyst that day. You've seen Terry on all the Olympic figure skating, college basketball. I mean, he does it all now for ABC, giving Reggie Geary some love before that meeting with Cincinnati so many moons ago. Hard to believe as we bring Reggie in from Cincinnati in Fifth Third Arena, where he'll be calling today's game alongside Brian Jeffries. Hard to believe that's almost 30 years ago now, guys.
It is. It seems like it was just yesterday. Such fond memories, great games, and so it was really cool to hear that little blast from the past.
Reggie, we obviously got your teammate here, Kelvin Ifan, with us, who was also in that game. He was sharing some memories of that day up in Phoenix. What are some of your takeaways? As you guys led up to the heroics by Damon Stoudemire at the end.
Miles.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Miles Simon at the end.
Yeah, it was Cincinnati, Arizona. Bob Huggins, Lute Olson. We had played them a couple of years before, and so it was a top 25 matchup. So a big game up in Phoenix. I believe it was a 7-up shootout. Was the name of the tournament back then, and it was a competitive, physical affair. I remember obviously everybody remembers Miles' 65-foot heave, and the nice thing was I was right behind Miles. Like when Miles shot it, I kind of was right in line with it, and it looked good the whole way. And I kind of remember thinking like halfway there, like that's good. And so when it hit, obviously we all went crazy. It was Coach Olson's 500th win. Excuse me. So there was that involved with it. So just all in all, a great night.
Yeah, I mean, you think back to games like that, and just Kelvin was saying, I mean, like the old Suns home at Memorial Arena there. How he said it was old back then, but then just the raucous crowd. I mean, I'm looking at that, as, watching some footage of that, and I'm thinking to myself, man, it seems like the crowd is even more raucous than what we saw in Phoenix a couple weeks ago when the Wildcats went up there to play UCLA. I mean, people right on top of the floor. I mean, describe that part of the environment from that day.
Yeah, it definitely was a little bit of an older feeling, Jim. I do remember, going in there and seeing that. But yeah, it was a packed crowd. It was an ABC game, so it was just, so the crowd was involved, and it just makes for a fun affair, to kind of feed off that energy. It was my senior year, and I was having a fairly good year, and so it was just like I say, it was just one of those games you just don't forget.
And I'll say this, man, a lot of guys didn't realize how tough Reggie was. This was a Reggie Gary type of game, right? Where, being physical, even when he handled the ball as a point guard, it was physical, man. He didn't do nothing finesseful, right? I mean, he got that ball in that right hand and you wasn't getting it. Trust me, I know all about it, right? And so I just felt like that, Reggie had that energy, man, going into that game. We had the type of dogs, and I don't think Cincinnati knew that. I don't think they thought that the West Coast guys had the type of mentality that could come in and battle them and fight them down to an end and get a victory like that. I mean, they had some ridiculous athletes. It really looked like a football team, to be honest with you. And I thought Ben Davis and just all our guys, man, just really stepped up to that challenge.
Yeah, Bob Huggins' teams back then, they played kind of bully ball. They were trying to get you to quit. Right. They were trying to get you to not want to go in there hard anymore because that was the style. But guess what? That Reggie's coming at you every single time.
Yeah, I think Kevin brings up a great point. Like, just kind of being on the West Coast, for whatever reason, people kind of think, West Coast and sun and kind of laid back. But no, I mean, like, Kelvin's a dog. I'm a dog. I was a guy coming out of high school. Yeah, Arizona and UCLA recruiting. Also, Syracuse and Villanova, Big East schools. We're seeing that, hey, maybe I had that kind of mental fortitude and toughness to play at that level. So that was kind of our thing. Like, people always kind of thought, like you say, we were this West Coast team, but we definitely have some guys that have some grit and kind of like the fight, kind of pick the fight at times. So that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do if you want to play top 25. That's what you got to do if you want to play a road. That's what Arizona's going to have to do today if they hope to be successful.
And I'll just tell this quick story. When I first got here, he's talking about picking a fight. When I first got here, I'm waiting to meet Reggie Gary. I ain't seen Reggie yet, and the first time I see him is open gym. We come to open gym, and I knew something was wrong because he didn't speak to me. And I'm like, okay, I just watched these dudes. I watched them, go to the Final Four. Woo, woo. I can't wait to play with them, right? I go up for a dunk on my first time. Reggie cleared me. Reggie cleared. And I'm so confused and everything. I mean, but when I tell you, man, that opened my eyes right from day one that, this ain't nothing. I'm thinking, I'm coming from Texas. I'm physical. I'm finna come out here and push these boys around. Nothing like that. Trust me. And I learned the first day. I didn't know. I didn't know, but it was I ended up learning from that, man. And Reggie was like that every day at practice. Reggie did not play people trust.
So Reggie, where did you develop that? Because a lot of guys from Orange County get bad raps because it's Orange County and people don't think that's tough basketball down there in Juice County. But so how did you develop that mentality to be that type of player coming out of Southern California?
First of all, I think a lot of it's just in my DNA. It's just kind of how I was built. that I just every day I just want to, I want to work hard. I enjoyed working hard. Coming out of Orange County, I had a little bit of chip on my shoulder, but keep in mind, I'm playing in LA every week. I'm playing in, Izzy Washington Slam and Jam. I'm playing in the Say, so I was someone who loved to play. And me and my guys, we jump in the car and we drive all around the city and Orange County, LA, San Diego, looking for games. And so, and I think there's just also this part of me that thought, I don't want to be embarrassed. I had a fear about being embarrassed on the court, and the only way I could fend that off was just always play hard, to never let my guard down. And then that kind of worked well for me because now if I played hard every single day, the games were easy. The guys around me got better because they knew they couldn't slack off or I would embarrass them. And so we kind of fed off each other, and that's something I learned. That's what I learned when I got there, when David Stoudemire was going at my neck, in practice, hitting me off for 40. And Khalid was killing me. Khalid was coming downhill at me, you know what I mean? So I was like, hold on. This is a competitive environment. And, yeah, we're brothers and we're friends, but we step on that court, we're trying to make each other better by, kind of iron sharpens iron, that we're going to go at each other and make each other better, and at the end of the day, we're going to love each other.
It's your View from Courtside with Reggie Geary, class of 1996, radio analyst, as well as administrator for the University of Arizona Athletics Department. And it's brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser has been serving Arizona for more than 25 years. All right, first Big 12 road game for this program. Reggie, coming off 3 straight wins, the revitalization of Caleb Love. What do you like most about what you've seen from Caleb over the course of this 3-game winning streak?
Obviously, it's the efficiency. When last year, when he was a League Player of the Year and All-American status and everything, he was very efficient at times, and it wasn't getting enough credit for that. I thought he came out of North Carolina. Everybody kind of thought he was a guy who just kind of chucked it up. But last year, he was efficient. He showed his ability to pass the basketball, and over the last 3 games, guess what? He's been highly efficient with a large field goal attempt. His assists, last game, I think he had 8 assists. So it was a dominant performance. To see him relax, which I didn't think he was as relaxed in the first maybe, few games of the year. It seems he settled in a little bit. Maybe the introduction of De La Rosa into the starting lineup or Carter Bryant has maybe opened the floor for him a little bit more. But he's just back to his dominant ways, and we're going to need to continue for him to play at that high level.
And I think that's one of the things Kelvin's been talking about is just how the spacing is a little bit better for him now with like you mentioned, maybe a Carter Bryant in there or a Deli in there, allowing him to get to the basket and be aggressive.
And also I add this. I think if you go back and you listen to what Coach Lloyd said, they really had built the game around the other big. They really wanted to go to him first. So I think that they were looking to play a different style of play and have Caleb play off of him. But now that he's gone, opened up the floor. Vezar is a different type of player that plays, basically outside in. So I think those adjustments all worked out, for Caleb.
Reggie, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Reggie, one of the things I've really been impressed with when you look at Vezar and what we've seen from him is just his ability at the defensive end of the floor. He can play in. I'm seeing him, play man-to-man outside. He's doubling outside. He's doubling in the corner. We saw a couple games ago where he was able to pivot back and get a block at the rim. He's changing shots. He's just very active on the defensive end of the floor in all areas, not just underneath the basket, but on the perimeter as well.
No, I think Henry's having a kind of a breakout season this year. There were a lot of expectations when he came in, being 7 feet tall, coming from Spain, Real Madrid, where he played his club ball at the time. And it seems now here, year 3, redshirt sophomore, things are starting to click for him. He's starting to realize, hey, I am a unicorn. I am 7 feet tall, who can move on the perimeter and use his length out there. I can also be a shot blocker and contest around the rim. And so I think Tommy's finally starting to see now that he's getting more minutes, probably a lot to do with the Mo Krivas injury. He's starting to produce and producing at a high level. So, I've loved his attitude, how he's approached this season. He seemed to have a little bit more fire in his eyes right now, a little bit more toughness he's displaying. And those last 5 games, and last game in particular being his best one, are great indicators of that.
We're chatting with Reggie Geary. He is the radio analyst on today's broadcast, the Wildcats and Bearcats from Cincinnati. It is your View from Courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser serving Arizona for more than 25 years. Reggie, do you get a sense of how the team feels about what it's going to take to win on the road in this conference?
Yeah, I think Tommy has done a great job of messaging in terms of, always being in these guys' ears, realizing, hey, night in, night out, it's going to be tough. I think I saw a quote from him just the other day saying, hey, don't expect any 30-point blowouts, any 20-point halftime leads. Every night it's going to be a fight. They're going to be close games. And I think, he's mentally preparing them with that. Now they physically still have to go out there and do that. And they've had some nice some nice games, the UCLA game, just in terms of environment, intensity, that's going to bode them well for a game like today.
Reg, I wanted to ask you about Trey Townsend. I think that he's the one guy that still kind of needs to get going. And I know he comes from a system, so basically where they were running cross screens and getting him in positions where he was playing one-on-one in a 4-out, 1-in type of situation, or running set plays to get him the ball where he can, post up or, just go face up and go downhill. I'm wondering, what do you think is going to take to get him going? Because I think he's the one key piece that we need in this conference that could be an advantage for us going against some of these teams. And what you think we need to get him going?
Yeah, Trey's an excellent ball player. I think now kind of with the team, readjusting in terms of how they're playing, a little more 5-around-0, more perimeter oriented. His ability, he hasn't shot the three as well as he probably would like. I think he's only taken 10 attempts on a year. So a lot of times when you're playing him and another big, his defender's able to kind of step back into the lane. And so that kind of bottles things up, and that's when Arizona's offense, boggles down at times. Trey is a good player. I would love to see him get more confident from the three. I think if he's that ability to do that, stretching the floor, maybe get him some more minutes, but he's a solid guy. He's going to have big nights. He's had big nights for Arizona already. He just kind of needs to recalculate, how he can play and fit into this roster.
Now, Reggie, if I'm not mistaken, the team practiced at Xavier yesterday. Was that correct?
Yeah, yep. Sean opened it up for the team while they were on the road playing in Georgetown, and so we got a chance to go over there, check out the facilities, and have a practice.
Okay, so they were on the road, so there was no Sean Miller sighting per se. I was going to wonder what the dynamic of that was like.
No, I mean, I think it's all good. I think Tommy and Sean are good friends. Tommy says they speak, and obviously, they have 4 or 5 guys on staff. They're Arizona dudes, so no, I think it's all cool.
Outstanding. Well, Reggie, we always appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and have a great call with Brian Jeffries today.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
All right, much more coming up for you straight ahead. It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2, we'll check the scoreboard and a whole lot more. I'm David Kelly along with Kelvin Ifan and J.W. Madden. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is just getting started. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 1 of the pregame show is brought to you by Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams Southern Arizona, the Window Depot, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. You're listening to the flagship of Arizona Wildcats athletics. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Broadway in Tucson presents the new 2024-2025 season, featuring 6 blockbuster productions, including Mamma Mia and the Southern Arizona premieres of Clue, live on stage, Beetlejuice, Some Like It Hot, the Neil Diamond Musical, A Beautiful Noise, and Shucked. Secure your signature season tickets today and get the best seats at the best prices. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your 2024-2025 season tickets today.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Did you know collecting sports cards is one of the fastest growing hobbies around? Whether you're looking to start or expand your collection, Showtime Cards is your ultimate destination. As one of the leading card shops in the country, they've been serving our community for over 25 years with the best in sports cards and trading card games. From rare finds to the latest releases, Showtime Cards has it all. Check them out at ShowtimeCards.com or visit them today at 5801 East Speedway. And discover why collectors everywhere trust Showtime Cards for their passion.
Hey homeowners, are you ready to chill out and go green? Goodfellas Air Conditioning can help. Introducing our latest lineup of energy-efficient systems featuring the new R32 refrigerant. It's cooler, greener, and better for the planet. You'll enjoy lower energy bills and a smaller carbon footprint. Not a fan of change? Goodfellas has a surplus of reliable R410 systems available. Unsure about what system you have or have questions? Give us a call for a free inspection. Goodfellas Air Conditioning, keeping it cool, keeping it green, and always keeping you comfortable.
The Window Depot is more than a window store. The Window Depot is a one-stop warehouse with everything you need for your complete home remodel. Shop the aisles of pre-built cabinets in a variety of colors, granite and quartz countertops, sinks, skylights, and hardware to complete your project. Need a custom order? We can help. Our designers offer free design services and can special order everything you need for your kitchen or bathroom remodel today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Krivas turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for two. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Jayden driving on White, hook it out to Lewis. KJ in the lane, got it underneath to Awaka, lost the ball, gets it back, messles it up, good, and he's fouled by Punch.
Needed offensive production from Tobe Awaka.
KJ works it back out high left now. Uday out to defend him. Lewis is going to drive by him underneath. Awaka slams it home.
KJ Lewis, 8 assists tonight.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, hour number 2 of our pregame show. We'll check the college basketball scoreboard. Brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers. We're going to shine a spotlight on one of your Arizona Wildcats. Today, that'll be your point guard, Jaden Bradley, who is averaging 11 points this season and has 46 assists in 12 games, so close to 4 assists per ball game. Scott Springer from the Cincinnati Enquirer delivers your scouting report. Who will be that Bearcat that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin today? Pest of the Game, brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Best bets, Arizona on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook is a 2.5-point underdog today in Cincinnati. You're over-under at 147.5. We'll dive into what we think that will look like in this contest. Keys to the game, starting lineup, all of that still straight ahead as we've got you for the next 2 hours here leading up to network coverage at noon from Cincinnati. You heard Toby Awaka with a couple of big baskets there in the second half of that game. And boy, was that a needed offensive punch. And when we talk about closing, which we did in the first part of the show, guys, you had a number of guys that made big baskets down the stretch. Caleb Love hit some key threes. Carter Bryant hit a 3 down the stretch. Toby Awaka had those two big back-to-back buckets when I think it was like a 7-point game, and they were trying to get it down closer, and he kept stretching it to 9. That's the type of total team effort that Tommy Lloyd is talking about that he wants from this team. Caleb Love really loving what Toby Awaka added down the stretch.
Toby is a monster on the glass, and he came up big. We put trust in Toby. We put a lot of trust in Toby. It's hard to be a big in Coach Lloyd's system. He asks you to do a lot, but Toby he steps up to the challenge every time, and even when he doesn't know, he'll ask questions, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to win, and that's what it showed tonight. He like you said, he hit those 3 back-to-back big time buckets, and we needed it.
Well, and you need that solid Toby Awaka. 8 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, those are pretty decent numbers for him. And if he can give you that type of performance every night, you're going to be in a good position with Toby Awaka.
Yeah, you need that physical style of play, especially in this conference with the Houstons and the Baylors and the Cincinnatis and the West Virginia. You have to have a physical presence, a big body that's willing to get in there and bang and get physical and go up and finish some of those layups around the baskets when those bigs are coming over trying to stop on the penetration. So I think he's going to be valuable in the Big 12 as well. Him and Townsend, to me, really are going to be the keys to how this thing really goes.
Well, and it's interesting because, again, Toby was a guy that necessarily he's playing a lot more minutes than he did last year at Tennessee. So, again, this is something that's been a little bit of an adjustment for him as well, being in a role where you're playing a lot more than maybe, and obviously that was one of the reasons why he decided to come here, was because he wanted to play so many more, have the opportunity to play more minutes. Toby kind of still trying to find that day-to-day routine that leads to that efficiency that we're talking about.
I think it's just really finding a good day-to-day schedule and routine to fall into. Different places sort of have different ways they run things. So I guess just internally, like creating a clock for myself and a system to be as productive and efficient as possible.
Well, again, another really cerebral kid that Tommy Lloyd has on this roster. And when you talk about smart basketball players, I think, that's something that Tommy is really starting to accumulate, especially with this club.
Yeah, man. I mean, because to be able to compete at a high level, you got to have guys that kind of can understand the way you want to play and what you're trying to get done. And again, I just think he's a guy, as he said, trying to figure out where you fit in at. Sometimes when you're in the free flow offense, you don't know how to pick your spots and when to pick your spots. And that's something that you have to understand. Sometimes you have to make an extra pass. You have to set another screen, or you have to get yours off an offensive rebound putback. So, I see him trying to settle in and figure it out. And it's going to take some more games. It's going to take these battles. It's going to take these battles in conference before we really get to see who the true Toby Awaka is.
It's really in basketball IQ, like basketball intelligence, guys, when you really think about what that means, is the ability to react without thinking too much about what you need to be doing in that moment. And when you're talking about the flow offense and the read and react offense, it's really important that you have 5 guys out there who can make those quick, solid decisions and act upon them in the same moment in time, Kelvin. If you're out there thinking about what coverage the defense is in, you're out there thinking about where you're supposed to be on the court, that split second of thought is a cut that you missed, is a flare that you missed to the corner or whatever. So we might have seen some indecision earlier in the season, first 10 games. Seems like all those 5 guys are much more connected in their decision making. So it's not necessarily got to be the smartest, Mensa guy out there on the court, but you got to understand exactly what it is that the coaching staff wants you to be doing, and don't think about it too much. There's not time, Kelvin, at this level, especially now in conference play, to be thinking too much out there. You got to know what your role is and react to those cuts.
And I also think he's another guy that's not quite looking over his shoulder as much as well, because there was a battle for who was going to be the starting big man that was kind of brewing, and I think that kind of has settled him down as well. He doesn't have to worry about that. He has that starting role, because I'm sure that's part of the reason why he came here, thinking, of course, that there would be added minutes, but hoping for possibly a starting position, because there wasn't a starting center at the time, even though we knew that we, had our guy. But I just feel like that he's settling down because he doesn't have to look over his shoulder.
And Kelvin, real quick, my favorite thing about a guy like Tobey is you don't have to get him the ball to keep him happy. Like, he's not a guy out there who's demanding that you give him the ball in the block, and if I don't get my 10 touches, if I don't get all what I'm expecting out here, then I'm going to play differently. He's just an energy guy, Kelvin, out there. And this expanded role that he's brought from Tennessee, he's getting more post touches than he ever got with his time with the Vols, working his way through that, finishing around the rim and all that. But as far as energy and getting offensive boards and all that, Tobey's going to bring it every single night.
It is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. We are also streaming this show right now live on Instagram. So join us on our Instagram account at Wildcats Radio 1290. Send us a comment on Instagram as well. We'll read your comment on the air. We've got our guy Rich Carrillo who's listening to the show, and he comments on Twitter. Loved the interview with Reggie Geary, a pride of Mater Dei High School in Santa Ana, California. Rich is a football guy. Rich Carrillo says Mater Dei has had 3 Heisman Trophy winners. Who are they? I have no idea.
Matt Leinart, I know for sure.
Matt Leinart.
I know that for sure.
Yeah, that would probably be one of them. That's 1 out of 3. I'm trying to think of who else would have come out of my. I know Reggie didn't play at Mater Dei. No.
You want the list?
Well, let me think on it for a second. We'll come back to that. I don't want to.
I'll give you 2 hints. One of them is a modern, and the two you didn't get. Leinart was one, but the one is a more modern player in the last 10 years, and one of them is an older player from the 60s.
Ooh, okay, all right. I'll have to think about that. I'll have to think about that for sure. The other 2 Mater Dei Heisman Trophy winners, we got Matt Leinart. Well, Kelvin got.
How many ballers, Kelvin, from Mater Dei came to Arizona for basketball? That's my question.
It was a pipeline for many years. Yeah. It was a pipeline.
Stanley Johnson.
For many, Stanley, is he the last one to come out of Mater Dei? I don't know that we've had another.
Well, their coach retired, right?
Yeah. Right.
And then a lot of those kids, they built those new schools. Sierra Canyon, was that right? Is that right? Yeah.
Yes,
Sierra Canyon and all those different schools. So those kids been, and then the charter schools, the prep schools have really got big also. So those kids have been pulled out in all different directions.
Speaking of recruits, a commit this week from Bryce James.
Yeah.
How about that?
Man, I mean, huge. And I said this to you in the break. I said that when you heard Coach, I mean, I heard LeBron say that you can believe in Lloyd. And I think it's a lot because of what he said. Caleb's my guy. I stuck with Caleb. I think a lot of time in recruiting, people don't understand. Yeah, we listen to the spiel of the coach, but we more so watch the way that he coached different guys on the team, and we find a guy and say that I could be that guy or I could be better than that guy. And I was telling you, I said Carter Bryant, you always hear him bring up KJ Lewis, right? And then and so I think that Bryce James and LeBron James, the dad as well, because they helped him with the decision. They're watching the way that Tommy sticks behind his guys. As I told you before, usually when he go with a starting 5, Ben Mathurin and Koloko and them, he stick with them. He gives his guys minutes. He gives them freedom to play. I mean, that's one thing about the set plays. There's not a lot of freedom in that. But in the style that he plays, there's freedom so guys could see themselves in it. And you think about the way LeBron James play, and you think about the way even Bronny plays. I can see totally how that would fit into what Tommy Lloyd is doing and the reason why they want Bryce to play here.
In other news, LeBron passed Michael Jordan yesterday for most 30-point games all time as well.
About
I
that?
don't count that. That's 7 more years. So
7 years more, yeah. But,
it's
you know,
a little different.
you got
You know,
there.
sometimes things could look, but yeah, a little different though. You know, he ain't Mike. He Mike like.
Oh, man. Good stuff there. Good stuff there. Let's take a quick look at your scoreboard today.
Let's take a look at what's happening today around the rest of the country. Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
All right, one game already in progress. Top 25 involving two teams ranked and it's an SEC battle. Number 10, Kentucky, is leading Florida 60-52 today in Lexington. The Gators have not lost this year. They are the higher ranked team in that respect at number 6 in the country. Number 24, Ole Miss, is hosting Georgia today. 13-9 is the early score in that ball game. Other games in the top 25 today involving two ranked teams. Another SEC battle. Number 23, Arkansas, will play against Tennessee today down in Knoxville. Tennessee undefeated at 13-0. A Big 12 matchup involving two ranked teams as number 25 Baylor goes on the road to Iowa State today in Ames. Baylor 9-3. Iowa State comes in at 11-1. Number 14 Houston in the Big 12 hosting BYU today. 15th ranked UCLA on the road at Nebraska in the Big 10. Number 17 Mississippi State in the SEC will host South Carolina. Number 4 Duke is on the road in the ACC at Southern Methodist.
I'm sorry, did you say Nebraska and UCLA are playing a conference game today?
Yeah, it sounds
so
really
weird.
weird. That
crazy.
sounds really weird. Very weird. Number 2, Auburn will host Missouri today in the SEC. Auburn is 12-1. Another game involving ranked teams also in the SEC. Number 12, Oklahoma will visit 5th-ranked Alabama down in Tuscaloosa. The Battle of Texas, number 13, Texas A&M against Texas today in College Station. 19th-ranked Gonzaga is on the road at Loyola Marymount. Other games in the Big 12 today. And this game underway, West Virginia at home against Oklahoma State. The Mountaineers up early in that game, 7-3. Other games involving teams not ranked, Kansas State at TCU, Colorado on the road at Arizona State. Texas Tech will take on Utah. Want to jump real quick to Arizona women's basketball. They play today at Central Florida, coming off a really, really tough loss at home. They got blown out by the Utah Utes in their Big 12 home opener on a New Year's Eve at McHale Center. Adia Barnes talking about the effort, mentality, and work ethic it is going to take for the Wildcats to get back on track as they head on the road.
And we shot 34%, so there's a lot of opportunities. So that's an effort thing. That's not a skill thing. So let me tell you someone else that crashes hard every time. Who crashes hard every time? Maylene. That's an effort and a mentality and a want. It's not, Maylene is not more athletic than some of the other people. But it's a want and a mentality, and those are separators. And I think when you always look, and like the barometer for being great is, you'll look at players like her that you go hard, you work, and that's a Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum wasn't the most athletic, but she became great because she has the mentality, the work ethic, and like the drive. And that separates good from great players. And I mean, you see that right now with consistency.
Maylene Rolfe, one of the new players on the roster, freshman, likely in line for some additional minutes as the ladies still trying to kind of get a handle on what their rotations are going to be. Again, a team that doesn't have a lot of senior leadership on it right now, a lot of young players trying to lead and find their way. So they've got a tough one on the road at Central Florida, a long way to go. And their schedule is really a lot different than the men's schedule. They're going to play a lot of these weeks where they're going to play one home game and one road game, which is going to be interesting to see just kind of how that works. They did that in the initial setup, although there was a 10-day Christmas break in between, but they played at BYU, then came and played at Utah. This is their first essential week. They're going to play at Central Florida today. Then they're going to come back home and play Baylor on Wednesday night. That'll be a big ball game at McHale Center at 6 o'clock. then Saturday at home against Iowa State before going back on the road next Thursday to Kansas State. So there's a little bit more, and I guess you can almost look at it. I mean, we're kind of treating the men's side as Saturday the first game, Monday, Tuesday the next game. It's a little bit different on the women's side because they're playing a lot of Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday type scenarios. They got a number of Wednesday games, so they've got a few more extra days, and I believe that's probably because of the way this schedule is set up with the way that the travel is. So they're going to play Baylor, San Jose, and Iowa State back-to-back at home. Then they're going to go on the road to Kansas State on a Thursday and Kansas State on a Sunday. So their scheduling is actually a little bit more like the traditional Pac-12 scheduling that we saw the last few years. Then they'll come home and play a Wednesday-Saturday scenario against Cincinnati and West Virginia. So a little bit different the way they're scheduling this thing on the women's side. That's a noon tip-off. You can listen to it over on KTUC 1400. Derek Palmer will have coverage beginning in about an hour and a half over on 1400. All right, that is your scoreboard.
Scoreboard is brought to you by Goldberg and Osborne. Goldberg and Osborne, the injury lawyers.
We'll shine a spotlight on Jaden Bradley next. It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day, along with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE Eagle.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
JT Auto, where customers are family. Trust your vehicle to JT Auto professional and reliable automotive repair and maintenance services. JT Auto is conveniently located off Fort Lowell and Country Club. Open Monday through Friday. JT Auto is a full-service auto shop with satisfaction guaranteed, offering you the best in tires and wheels, auto repair, oil changes, computer diagnostics, suspension and brake service, and heating and AC. Bring your car to JT Auto, where customers are family. 623-7066. That's 623-7066.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rocking K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rocking K, with home savings up to $25,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Day in and day out, we're inundated with commercials asking to review your portfolio or telling you to get a second opinion. This is Natalie Fernandez with Meridian Wealth Management, and I want to share the advice I give people every day. Talk to 3 different advisors at 3 different firms. It's important to understand their differences and find someone you can trust. I want Meridian to be one of your 3, and then you will decide who is best for you. To learn more, call us at 719-1433 today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered registered investment advisor.
Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we're offering 60 months no interest financing, tax credits up to $2,600, energy efficiency rebates, and 10-year parts and labor warranty.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Stolen away by Jaden Bradley. Bradley 2-on-1, all the way to the bucket, lay it up and good. Bradley pull up three, straight away is good. Jaden is dialed in tonight. He is 6 for 6 from the floor, and he's made 2 threes.
Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Jaden Bradley, the point guard at Point Guard U, starting to find his assist game. I mentioned he's had 6 assists in 3 of the last 4 games. I think I said 3 in a row earlier. He didn't have just 3 against Central Michigan, but he had 6 against UCLA, 6 against Samford, and 6 against TCU. Now 46 assists on the season to go along with 22 turnovers for Jaden Bradley. Let's shine a spotlight on Jaden Bradley, who met with the media and was asked about his Christmas vacation.
Yeah, I went back to North Carolina a couple of days, good time with family, good Christmas. So,
do you have coaches or, people that you get with to say, hey, what are you seeing, to get feedback at all, any type of feedback when you go back into those home situations?
I have some trainers I've been training with since I was, middle school and stuff like that. They watch the game, but, they kind of, work on things that I, been doing and try to implement into the game. So,
what do you think has been the thing that you've learned the most about this team during the non-conference?
It's not going to be easy for us, with different, injuries and different lineups. So, we got to adjust and, find ways, to win games, whether that's on the defensive end, getting stops, if a shot's not falling. So, we got to really work and for full 40 minutes, to get wins.
Is there something to, knowing that it hasn't come easy that makes it adds motivation?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, from the players to the staff, managers, we all want to win, for us, but not only for us, for Tucson, for the fans and everybody. So, knowing that it's not coming easy, we're excited, we're sticking together, and, we're battle tested now. So going into these tough games and, it's not going to be 20-point wins. It's going to be, dog fights going down to the last second. So, we're kind of prepared for those.
How would you describe just how the dynamic of this team has changed with Mo being out, Henry getting more minutes, Deli in the starting lineup now, how that's kind of changed the dynamic over the last 3-4 games?
Definitely, Mo going out, that's a big piece for us. But, Henry's done a great job. Tobe, Deli, like you say, next man up mentality. And I feel like, we're starting to find that now and, realizing that we don't have Mo, so different scenarios we could play with Henry at the 5 or Tobe at the 5. So, we're just, working on those things right now.
So, Jane, when you signed, of course, or when you came to transfer here, you were
think they were still in the Pac-12, and then I think it was early, about the time you went to Israel in August that year, you found out the Big 12. How did that hit you specifically, or when? Do you remember when it was? You mentioned you were excited about it, but when did that hit you? Or was it one of those things where you knew you were going to play a lot of high-level games anyway? Yeah, no matter the conference, I feel like, as a competitor, you want to compete, every night. And when I heard the news, I was excited, going into the Big 12. Growing up, I watched a lot of those teams and, getting to play against those guys and compete with those guys night in and night out, just excited.
I asked Tommy about leadership. He said he's still looking. Could you be that guy or one of the guys? Yeah, for sure. I feel like this team, we got a lot of guys with experience, and I don't feel like we have, that one person that's, very outspoken and vocal. So I feel like for this team, we have a lot of guys that lead in their own ways, and it could be, a different day. It could be that, that guy's, turn for a leadership. So it's not just one, certain guy. It could have Trey one day, KJ, C-Love, myself, just, anybody. Along those lines, do you feel more, responsibility, or just because you have been around and a lot of guys who were leaders last year gone now? Yeah, definitely just, just speaking up when needed. When I see something, I definitely put my teammates to the side and, tell them something I see and, with the experience I had within college basketball. So definitely trying to be, more vocal on that piece.
What have you liked about what Conrad's been able to add when he's been in there?
Yeah, Conrad's, a special guard, has played, overseas, is, some of the best basketball. And he, has great IQ and, he's fast and he can pass. Probably one of the best passers we got on the team. So I definitely, I look up to him and his passing. So when he comes in, it changes the tempo and, he gets the ball moving on offense. So
when you go up against him in practice, what would you say maybe is the next piece he needs to add to his game?
I don't think it's anything he needs to, add. Just keep shooting that, that three ball when it's open. But, just getting gritty on the defensive end. He's, everybody he's not the tallest, but I feel like he can really get into the ball and, get steals. They're going to try to, find him on the mismatches. But, our defense is predicated on, helping him. So I feel like, he should be good.
What do you think's added to your uptick in assists these last few games? I think you've got 6 the last 2 games out.
Just playing within the system. Me and Coach Lloyd and, the other coaches been, talking about that and not just trying to go out there and hunt them. Just play within the game and, they'll come. That's, within our offense, point to post, high lows and stuff like that. Just, finding my shooters, C-Love, Deli, KJ, Trey, just going out there and playing the right way and not trying to force it.
All right, that is Jaden Bradley. A little spotlight on the point guard at Point Guard U. The assists have been going back up. You really look, it goes back to the West Virginia game, which was his first 5-assist game. So now he's had 5 or more in 4 of the last 6 games for your Arizona Wildcats, and that is good to see. Head coach Wes Miller of the Cincinnati Bearcats asked this week what most concerned him about having to deal with Jaden Bradley.
Experienced player, aggressive with the ball, and just puts a lot of pressure on you in transition and all their movement in the half court. Like you look at their team and they have it's like 2 point guards that start the game with those two that can put a lot of pressure on you, can create shots for others, and can also go create one for themselves. And as we've talked about here for a long time, the best teams in college basketball are going to have multiple guards, and that's just the start of it because, Lewis and Delaware, so, they got a number of guys in the backcourt, but those two are terrific, some of the best in college basketball.
That was an interesting point I think he made there, guys, when he talked about they've got 2 point guards. And the other guy he's talking about is Caleb Love. We don't necessarily always think of Caleb Love as a point guard, but there are other teams out there that apparently do look at him in that respect.
Real quick, who are the 2 guys that were most responsible for you coming to the University of Arizona when you were a senior in high school?
Khalid Reeves and Damon Stoudemire.
Yeah, so DK, Arizona started, we all know about that 88 run, Sean Elliott, Steve Kerr, and all them, but that era, Kelvin, after, East Tennessee State in the early 90s, after that, Coach Olson really made a concerted effort to have a couple of combos, if not 3. Kelvin Ifon, famous for saying he likes to have 4 guards out there who all can do multiple things. having those two or three guys, you talk about KJ coming off the bench, who can put pressure at the rim, score in the mid-range, and are willing facilitators, Kelvin. How important is that, especially going in this tough conference, to have multiple guys who can be threats from different places?
Well, it's too easy to take away one ball handler. You could double that guy and force the ball into some non-ball handlers' hands, and now your team is bogged down and can't get anything going. I think that's one of the reason why I love having multiple guards, and I always like to have 2 or 3 point guards. I mean, living in Tucson, in AAU, we was playing some big-name teams, the Compton Magic, Belmont Shores teams, and different things like that. So our only advantage, DK, was to put 3 guards out there, 3-point guards, because they all can handle the ball, they make great decisions, and they can shoot. So it gives you an advantage. Only thing that it hurts you sometimes is defensively, they're a little bit small. Well, Caleb has been playing this role as a shooting guard his whole life, but the reality of it is his professional career, he's a point guard, and he shows all those attributes with his ball handling. So I love when he's going downhill because, again, when he's not scoring, my guy Rottenheiser said when he's getting downhill, he's also assisting the ball, and you get a chance to see some of those point guard qualities.
Interesting stuff there from the perspective of head coach Wes Miller of the Cincinnati Bearcats. We'll hear a little bit more from him coming up later as well as we get you closer to our scouting report. It's Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. It is the Wildcats of Arizona, the Bearcats of Cincinnati. Tip-off coming your way at 12:30. That is, however, today's Spotlight on a Cat.
This today's Spotlight on a Cat has been brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing for your next set of tires or automotive repair, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
You'll find an entire page of them online at jackfurriers.com. Savings on tires, oil changes, batteries, wheel alignments, and more.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
First Chiropractic is pleased to announce that Access Health Plans now cover chiropractic care. A referral by your PCP is required. For more information, go to firstchiro.com, the most trusted name in chiropractic care. A proud U of A radio sponsor.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800 The Eagle.
The garage is more than a place to park your car. It holds prized possessions, and for most, it's a bustling entryway to the home. That's why LiftMaster designed the first ever opener with a built-in wide-angle camera and two-way audio, so you can see what matters and secure what's inside. Ensure your family and prized possessions are secure with a reliable garage door opener that's built to last and powered by MyQ for smartphone control. The team at Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates are your locally owned LiftMaster professionals. Visit kaisergarage.com to learn more.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden. Time now for our look at today's Wildcat opponent. The scouting report is brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there.
All right, let's take a closer look at today's opponent, the Cincinnati Bearcats' first Big 12 road game for your Arizona Wildcats. Pleased to be joined by the man that writes the beat for the Cincinnati Enquirer, Scott Springer. And Scott, it was interesting. We played the Monday set of games like you guys did down there, and the thing we were looking at is that, like, what's this league going to be like for teams that are ranked that have to go on the road? Unfortunately, there were 3 ranked teams that went on the road Monday. Cincinnati was the one that did not come away with a victory, losing that game at Kansas State. What went wrong for the Bearcats in Manhattan on Monday night?
Well, pretty uncharacteristic game. They got out to a bad start, and there was like 3 easy misses and 2 turnovers in the first 5 possessions, and you bat an eye and you're down 12-3, and in the Big 12, that's quite a start. If you're Kansas State, you're awfully happy with that, and they were coming off of a 3-game skid and had. It wasn't a sellout there at Bramlage Coliseum, but it was just shy of 10,000. Pretty noisy crowd. It was Star Wars night, so I guess Princess Leia and Darth Vader and every they had some stormtroopers there. So they got some people in there somehow that were noisy, and Cincinnati just didn't respond right out of the chute. Now they made it a game, even though they didn't play that well. Only led for 24 seconds of the game late in the first half. Dan Skillings went on a 7-0 run by himself, and Cincinnati took the lead, but then couldn't sustain it at halftime, couldn't retake it in the second half. I think they tied it a couple times, but tight game. But, I guess it's a lesson learned that you can't take anything for granted. You can't look at a team's record, and the home court advantage is pretty huge in the Big 12. And even if it's not, even a home game like this game, Arizona's certainly capable of coming in and beating Cincinnati. It's hard to say. On paper, maybe Cincinnati might be favored by its head, but they were favored at Kansas State, and it's just it's not played on paper; it's played on a court, and the tough guy usually wins.
We're chatting with Scott Springer with the Cincinnati Enquirer. It is your scouting report brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there. And obviously you mentioned the first home game for the Cincinnati Bearcats in conference. And we're kind of going through what you guys went through a few years ago going into this new conference. How has this worked? How has this Big 12 been for the University of Cincinnati as a whole for all the sports?
Well, football has been a little rough, obviously. They've had 2 losing seasons in this past season. They were 5-2 and should have made a bowl game and then lost the next 5. So that's been kind of rough. They're trying to get that fixed through the transfer portal. However one fixes that, I don't know. That's just a royal mess as it is, but that's the world we live in. Basketball-wise, They won 22 games last year. I think what fans would tell you, and if you go back a handful of years, Cincinnati was in the Big East, and that was an extremely good basketball conference. And this was the old Big East before Syracuse left and Pitt left and whoever else left in that group there. Louisville was in it, and West Virginia. So that was night in and night out, knockdown, drag out. And so when you get to the Big 12 basketball conference, that's exactly what it is, because Arizona, Cincinnati have played before in Maui, and they've traditionally had good teams, and Arizona State's good, and the teams that are in there are good. And, no one in Cincinnati knows a whole lot about Colorado basketball, but obviously they've been able to hang with some people and look decent. So, Utah's traditionally been good, and BYU has got a lot of money, and they're good. So it's an interesting league, and it's just I certainly don't work in Vegas because I'd be broke because you can't. I wouldn't know what to tell people with some of these games.
Wes Miller's not really a coach that a lot of people might be familiar with. Fourth year now with Cincinnati. What's kind of his style been? What do his teams look like?
Well, they do like to play fast, but I don't think they play as fast as Arizona and as fast as TCU, who Arizona just played. He's had a little bit more emphasis on defense this year. He's done a great job of going and getting players in the portal, and I think that's the way he built up UNC Greensboro before that. So typical players coach, not that he's just totally lenient. I've heard him in practice. He jumps on them pretty good there. So, but the players seem to like him. He's getting a lot of guys in. It's just at this point, big boy athletics. It's kind of like with football. Cincinnati's wanting to see a winner, and people get a little impatient when they lose. And losing to Kansas State wasn't pretty. It's not the end of the world by any means because there's a whole ton of basketball played, and everyone's going to remember the games more so in March. But, people have been spoiled here, I guess, over the years. You go back to the Bob Huggins years and, way back when Cincinnati was in 5 straight Final Fours, if you want to go to ancient history, and won 2 national titles and almost won 3 in a row. But the Huggins years, he had so many good players, and perennially they were top 25, if not top 10, so many years, and Kenyon Martin, National Player of the Year. And so when you've been to the mountaintop and then you get knocked down a peg or two, it's kind of tough to get back to where you were. And some people think, well, you're supposed to be there every year. It's tough to be there every year, especially in the way college athletics is now, because the one thing about the portal, it kind of gives you a little bit of parity because every team can get a guy, and maybe teams aren't as deep. I think this is more so in football, but it has changed everything. The senior nights, you're saying goodbye to guys that have been there like a year, 2 years.
Right.
It's like, did they even
hardly got to know you?
Right. Yeah. It is. It is puzzling sometimes on senior night. You're going, who's that guy again? Let's see. Well, he got in the non-conference game in the last 5 seconds against East-West, Southwest Regional State or whoever that was. But yeah, it's not like it was, and I sort of miss it. I'll be honest with you. It was always neat on senior day to see that 4-year guy or the dude that hadn't played in a couple of years, and then suddenly turned into something. And seeing coaches, Huggins, as tough as he is, he would cry every now and then. And Mick Cronin had some really tough guys here, and Wes is close to his players. So, but we're just not going to see it anymore. So I should quit going on talk shows and yapping about it. But I'm still an old guy a bit.
It's our scouting report of the Cincinnati Bearcats, chatting with Scott Springer. He is the beat writer for the Cincinnati Enquirer, and it's brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Jack Furrier, since 1960, we're here to get you there. Scott, you had mentioned Dan Skilling's his performance against Kansas State. What is getting him back in this lineup? He missed a number of games due to injury early on. What is getting him back due for this club?
Well, he's a guy that can really change a game, and he had 18 points, and that's his season high so far. He needs to get his rebounding together a little bit better. He had 17 and 11 his first game out, and then he had the injury, so had a slight little knee procedure, came back. He did miss the Villanova game, which was their first loss. But yeah, he was close to keeping them in the game this past Monday. And Arizona's had injuries and that every team's had some injuries and illnesses, and it's just they weren't very good against Kansas State, and I think they're going to be determined to be that much better today. But Dan's a unique player. There's so much he can do. He can contort his body. He's got great hops. Shoots a decent 3-point ball, and very talented guy. Way back when, even when he was a freshman, it was the NBA players or the NBA scouts rather, were coming out, and Skillings was someone that wasn't even getting a whole lot of time, but everybody was interested in him because of his length and hops and all that type thing. So whether or not he hangs another year, I don't know. I think he would like to come out after this year, but you never know. I mean, you're in an era where you might make more money staying in school another year.
Well, just looking up some of the transfers you guys have got, it's something we like to do. Like where other teams pulling kids from. I mean, you see Kentucky, you see USC, you see Texas on this roster. Seamus Lukosius comes over from Butler. That seems like that's been a pretty good ad there in the post for Cincinnati.
Yeah, Seamus is a good player. He's slumped a little bit recently shooting the ball, but he started out the year on such a tear. At one point, he was hitting like 70% of his threes, so that's going to win you a lot of games. But he's a unique combination, a 6'8" guy that can dribble the ball, bring it up the floor, and a really good shot, and he can drive it inside. So there's so much he can do. Dylan Mitchell from Texas played against Cincinnati last year, and former McDonald's All-American, and he's improved his game. He's getting the ball a little bit more offensively than he did at Texas, and he can really dunk. That's one thing Cincinnati likes to do, is go up and play above the rim, and a lot of lobs to Aziz Mandego and Dylan in there, and then Jizzle James is he's starting this year. He didn't start till the tail end of last year. Day Thomas was the starting point guard, and he was injured in the NIT late, so Jizzle got his first starts then. But he started all of this year, and he's been off and on. But when he's on, he's a tough kid. I mean, he did not look like a freshman last year. He's the son of Edgerrin James, so obviously he's got set than most. Dad's a Hall of Fame running back, and so he's a pretty good shot outside, and the best thing he does, he has a great mid-range game. He's having to, run the team a little bit more, so that's taken some of the scoring away. But again, it's early. I think he'll find his way around, and I think those are the five right there. Connor Hickman is a transfer out of Bradley that started for them. Pretty good shot, but he's been a little bit dinged up recently, so he wasn't as effective as he might have been on Monday. And then at USC, you mentioned that's Arrington Page, a big man that has some decent post moves. He's a little raw yet, but coming along, and see if I've left anyone else out of here.
How about the fifth-year guy, Aziz Bandiago out of Utah Valley?
Yeah, he's the guy they throw a lot of lobs to, 7-footer. And I got to see him. He was at Utah Valley. Cincinnati played them in the NIT like 2 years ago. And this dude was doing a little bit of everything. Now, he's not doing as much offensively as he did there, but he's just a presence. And Arizona has 7-footers, too. The Lithuanian, is it Basir? I don't want to mispronounce his name, but looked like he had a good game last time out. So. Besar, okay. Yeah. My apologies. I hate to make the Lithuanians mad, because Seamus is one also.
Yeah, you don't want to make him mad, because he played pretty well on Monday night here for Arizona. Hey, Scott, what do you think that the Bearcats have to do to win this game today?
Somehow keep Arizona around 70 points or less, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But if you look at what Cronin and UCLA did, and I think Duke held them in the 50s. Obviously, that's the key to winning. Now, it just depends on how the game goes. But Cincinnati's defense, I think in the Ken Palm, they're at number 5. They were the last time I looked. And the most they've allowed was the 70 points they gave to Kansas State. And the 2 previous games, they held teams to season lows, including a Dayton team who was ranked at number 22 at the time, and they held them to 59 points. So defense has been a little bit better. If they get into a run and gun game with Arizona, I don't know how it'll be. It'll be better that they're home, but if Arizona's scoring what their average is, which I think is about 86, then that's probably not going to bode well for Cincinnati.
And first time for Arizona ever to play the Bearcats in Cincinnati. What's that vibe at Fifth Third Arena going to be like?
Well, last I checked, I think it's standing room only. So you're looking at, I don't think it's as big as Tucson's place, but 12,500 maybe if they have full standing room somewhere in that area. I think seating-wise it's 12,012. But it can get very loud and intense, and I think everybody knows that it's a big-time opponent coming in. And, Arizona, I mean, if you're looking at the net and the Ken Palm, I think it's 23 against 25 net-wise, and Arizona's 19 and the Ken Palm, Cincinnati 23. So as far as the math geeks go, they say it's a pretty good game, so we might want to listen to them. I think it should be, though. I mean, Wes Miller's talked about the front court of the Wildcats that just keeps coming and coming, and obviously Mr. Love can put the ball in the hole, and if he gets 33 like he did last time, that might not be good either.
Well, we're looking forward to an exciting one coming up here in Cincinnati. Scott, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us.
They made it nice and cold for the boys too. It's in the 20s.
Wow.
So I'm just like Tucson, just like home.
No, thank you. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I've been out here 16 years, so I don't want any more part of that.
Yeah, you're the wise one. Yeah. Leave me here to freeze my behind off.
There you go. Scott Springer from the Cincinnati Enquirer with your scouting report.
And that's the lowdown on the team U of A is about to face on the hardwood. The scouting report has been brought to you by Jack Furrier Tire and Auto. Jack Furrier since 1960. We're here to get you there. Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball is getting you closer to tip-off. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 2 of the pregame show is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Recon Auto Detail, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community designed by nature, University Termite and Pest Control, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. You're listening to the flagship of Arizona Wildcats Athletics. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockingK.com. Designed by nature. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, best price, biggest inventory.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 35 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees. Bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including Tucson and Sierra Vista, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 2,200 five-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after an accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm 4 years in a row tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Wildcat Nation, are you ready?
Previs turnaround, gets it off, and it rolls in for 2. Oh my! KJ Lewis slams it home. Stolen away by Bradley. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam.
Arizona basketball never sleeps.
Bear down, Cats. Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. The Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Gameday pregame show is brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived. We're getting closer to tip-off for today's Arizona basketball game. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Bradley will drive it underneath. Henry slam it home.
Nice ball screen action. Jaden Bradley brought the big man with him and then whipped a pass around him to Henry Vasar.
Kick it high. Vasar open for 3. Score it. Henry Vasar.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
Final hour of the show, we will dive into the emergence of Henry Vasar, the sophomore forward out of Estonia. Pest of the game, who will be that Bearcat that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin, brought to you by University of Termite Pest Control. That'll be in this segment. Best bets, U of A 2.5-point underdog. Over under 147.5. I'm still leading by a lot in the best bet category. Let's see if the fellas can maybe try to catch up a little bit today. Keys to the game, starting lineups, and all of that is still straight ahead as we dive into this final hour of the program. You heard Henry Vasar there, who has just really been playing extremely well for the Arizona Wildcats. Tommy Lloyd on the emergence of the sophomore.
You know, I believe in a lot, and his development's taken a while, which is normal. It's not it's not a slight to Henry by any stretch. He's in his 3rd year. He's 7 feet tall. He had a thin frame. They're starting to come together. His shooting, his decision making, his balance, his strength is all kind of coming together at the right time. But you know what he needed? He needed some game experience.
Well, again, and it's another young player. We talk about Carter Bryant, Henry Vasar. These are guys that haven't really played much in this environment. Henry sat out all of last year with the injury, but again, really impressed with what he has not only been able to do at the offensive end of the floor, but the defensive end of the floor as well. Just changing shots at the rim, defending the rim, defending the perimeter. To me, that's just been something that's been really pleasant to see. And finally made that three-pointer that I've been kind of wanting to see and thought that maybe he was a guy that could provide the Wildcats with some outside scoring punch. Clearly his best game of his career, 15 points against TCU in 17 minutes. To go along with 6 rebounds and the 4 assists we saw again. And that was one of the things that we talked about early on in the season, is that I thought he had the ability to be a guy that could pass the ball out of that high post position. And we saw him get the lob to Carter Bryant on the cut. Really loved the way the cutters were going to the basket in that ball game, and guys like Henry Vasar who have that wherewithal to be able to find him. Want to continue to see that positive play.
That
from
one
Henry.
right there, Kelvin, when he caught that ball, he glanced up and found Carter Bryant streaking from the corner, the left corner. That was a split-second catch-pass decision. And, Kelvin, for bigs especially, young bigs coming in at this level and how fast it moves around, that secondary pass, not just thinking, hey, I got the ball in the paint, I'm just going to put my head down, a couple of crab dribbles, I'm going right at that rim, I'm trying to dunk on somebody. Henry Vasar, the young big, that was a very heady pass. And you could tell that the team, Kelvin, had been working on those Hassan Adam cuts because he got that ball right around the elbow, looked right up, found Carter. That was a great play.
And as you've been watching him play, usually he gets that ball and goes straight to the rim. So it was great to see him turn and look first to see if there was cutters, and then to be able to have the touch, which we've seen with the jump shot, to be able to lob the ball and let the guy make a play. But again, I just feel like it's that confidence of understanding that you're going to play, and they need you. They need him right now to be effective for this team to be successful. So that added intensity of being physical, to me, is the real difference.
Can you speak to that real quick? The difference between just playing ball, like you've been playing since you were a kid, and playing ball worried and fearful that if you make a mistake, you're going to get the hook, right?
Oh, man, it just messes with your whole psyche, your whole body. You tense up. You end up making mistakes because you're afraid to make the mistake. When you're able to go out there and play loose and understand that you're going to play and they need you to be an impact on the team, it's just something about you that just plays a little more freely and freer. And that's what I'm seeing from him.
And I mentioned he made a 3-point shot.
Bradley across midcourt, drives it right on Reynolds, kick it high, Vasar open for 3, score it! Henry Vasar with Alexis of Tucson Charity 3. He has scored 7 second-half points, and the Cats are up 58-53. Everybody on their feet.
Yeah, he's only made 3 this season. He had not made a 3 since the Old Dominion game. So it had been like about 10 games since he hit a 3-point shot. He's only 3 for 13 on the season, 23%. So, again, maybe that's something that's been a little bit of a disappointment for me. I thought he'd be a better 3-point shooter, be able to add more, but it was finally good to see him knock one down in an important game that mattered. Almost had the second one, kind of went in and out, same kind of like Carter Bryant had one late that kind of went in and out. So like to see both those guys start to knock those threes down a little bit more consistently, and then that 9-point win turns into maybe a 16 or 17 point.
Well,
victory.
Kelvin, the problem here is Vasar, Awaka, Townsend, these kind of guys, there's so much drop these days. So many teams don't respect a big's ability to shoot the ball from the outside. So you get a high ball screen, they're going to give that player. I mean, we saw Balla would get, 10 foot of space out there if he caught the ball at the top. Not a threat. If you are a threat, look at the lineup. Look at the roster on this team. There's a lot of guys trying to get busy in the mid-range, a lot of guys trying to get to the rim. If you're clogging up that area and your bigs are not a threat out there, their bigs, Kelvin, can sag in, the driving lanes close up. You just don't have as much space to operate. So I don't want to see Henry Vasar shoot 5 threes a game. What I do want him to do is shoot with confidence when the bigs leave him open because he is a threat out there, especially putting that on film, Kelvin. You cannot have the bigs dropping down 10 feet, clogging up the lane because there's a lot of drivers on this team.
Exactly. And I just think that with that ability to knock down that shot, that's enough. Once you put it on tape, that's enough. Teams are going to have to game plan it, and they're going to have to respect it. It's like hitting the tight end over the middle, right? You don't have to throw it to him 20 times to make the defense want to adjust, right? So you have to have that ability to have that option, and I think he for sure has it. I just don't want to see him get happy there. I think for him to be successful, it has to be around the rim, the 15-foot area. I would love to see more mid-range pull-ups. I love that one that he shot on the baseline. I think that he'll be highly more effective at that than just, bumming from three. Because sometimes people don't understand this, J-Dub. You can be a 15-foot shooter and pull the guy out as well. It don't have to be all the way out to the three.
Henry Vasar says he never lost confidence in his ability to shoot the ball from distance.
Me and Ken for sure have talked about shot selection and when to take them, but also my team is C-Love, KJ. They're always saying they rip whenever you open, just your teammates belief in you, it helps a lot.
How did it feel hit that three?
Oh, it felt really good. I missed a lot in a row, but that felt really good to go in.
You're a real shooter, I'm telling you. You're a real shooter.
Well, there you go. Caleb loves it. He's a real shooter. Ken Nakamura, the shooting guru, assistant coach, getting some love there from Henry Vasar. Tommy Lloyd says, we know Henry can shoot the ball from outside.
Henry has shot the ball really well in workouts and practice. And I don't know what his three-point shooting was going into the game, but it wasn't an indicator of that. So there's this thing called game confidence that you have to get, and when you have to be able to do it under the lights. And so for him to kind of get that opportunity, Mo's out. So, now we're going to be able to roll with Henry, and he's going to get probably a little more opportunity.
Yeah, and that points to what you said earlier, Calvin, about just him, not having to look over his shoulder anymore.
Right, because if you jack that three, right, we're going back to Mo. You missed that three, Mo. Let's go. Because when you have a guy like Mo in your starting lineup, Big Creevis, when you have a guy like that, it's hard to give minutes to guys that aren't being physical, especially when that's the way you want to play. Because understand this, Coach Lloyd knew going into the Big 12 he was going to have to be more physical. We're going to have to be more physical. So, to me, that's where Vasar really made a jump, was with that confidence on the offensive side. And J-Dub, I always said this for years. Big guys play so much better when you get them the ball and let them get a couple shots up, even if they miss them. Even if they miss them, they just feel good that they're involved on that end of court. But to me, really, it's the defensive end of the court where he's made his gains.
Yeah.
Moving his feet, being a guy that's forcing guys to shoot over him, blocking a few shots, becoming a somewhat of a shot-blocking presence that we desperately need on this team.
Tommy, Henry says there's been no pressure, or he has at least not felt any pressure from the coaches to perform.
Myself, yeah, I said to step up. I feel like with Coach Lloyd, we had little talks, but it wasn't more about you're gonna have to do this, but it's more you have to be ready for the moment. And he's just saying game by game, see what's coming and wherever based on the scout what we gotta do.
And KJ Lewis loving what he's seen from the emergence of the big sophomore.
It's been a steady growth since the summer. I'm super proud of his development. I think, he's taking it day by day. And, when you got teammates like we do, pour belief into each other. And I think, he's getting that belief from everybody that we believe in, his abilities. And I think tonight is just a sample size of, what he can do.
Yeah, Henry Vasar, again, when you look at the course of the last 5 games, averaging 10 points, 5 rebounds, and shooting 63% from the floor over the last 5 games for the University of Arizona. That is extremely good to see for Henry Vasar. All right, let's find out who that Wildcat, or I should say that Bearcat, is going to be that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin today.
Who is today's Pest of the Game? The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at BePestFree.com.
Got some names on this team.
Oh, yes.
Dan Skillings Jr., Day Thomas, Jizzle James, the son of Edgerrin James, the legendary running back out of the University of Miami and for the Indianapolis Colts, Aziz Bandiago.
How about Day?
Day, that's what I said. Day Thomas. Yeah, there's some names.
Say Lucas.
Seamus.
41.
Oh, wait, 41. I don't have the roster here.
Lucas.
Lukosius.
Lukosius?
Yeah.
All right, remember that one because that's mine.
Oh, Seamus Lukosius. Yeah. Seamus.
Well, that's my pick.
Lithuania. There you go.
Well, you can go first.
Seamus is your guy.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
man. 3-point shooter, big. We were just talking about all the things that our big fella Vezar brings to the game. That's the same thing that this guy brings, but he's looking for the pick and pop. And one thing I want you guys to really pay attention to, they're real deep. They're about 5 feet deeper than the three when they're shooting this thing.
Who do you like, J-Dub?
Well, watching film on Cincy, I'm seeing a lot of Dallas Mavericks style basketball, which is guards getting busy and then those active bigs on the backside lobs. And the guy I'm looking after is Dylan Mitchell. I think that's a dude who's average. It's really weird if you look at the stats because he's shooting 68% from the field. However, struggling at the free throw line, just 31%, but really active body. It was between him and Aziz. Normally, I'm a guy who likes to choose a guard who's going to knock down a bunch of threes, get a bunch of steals. But the bigs for Arizona today are going to have to make sure that they keep a body on those active guys on the backside because that'll be an issue staying with those guys. So I'll go with Dylan Mitchell today.
All right. Well, I can't not go with Jizzle James. I mean, got to go with one of the best assist men in the country, averaging 5 per, 31st overall, son of a big-time player in Edgerrin James. But maybe more importantly, as it relates to this game, they had some struggles with turnovers in the game at Kansas State. And so it's going to be very important that they keep control of the basketball and not give away those possessions against a team like Arizona, who, if you turn it over or allow the Wildcats to turn you over, they're going to get out in transition, which is what they want to do. And I think Jizzle James is going to have to be the guy that really controls that here today for the Cincinnati Bearcats. So I'm going to go with Jizzle James as my pest of the game. So we got...
That's today's Pest of the Game. The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Visit BePestFree.com.
So we got Jizzle, Seamus, and I'm sorry, who is your guy again, J-Dub?
Dylan Mitchell.
Dylan Mitchell. There you go. Out of Texas. Transfer out of
Watch out for
Tampa,
them Texas
Florida
boys.
from Texas. There you go. Exactly. All right, speaking of the Cincinnati Bearcats, let's hear again from their head coach, Wes Miller, who talked a little bit more about the University of Arizona and how their record at, what are we now, 7-5 coming into this ball game is not indicative of who Arizona is.
We're going to sit in press conferences like this and say this for 20 straight league games, but they're an elite team in college basketball. As you mentioned, when you start really breaking them down, you see it in every facet. You see it analytically, on both offense and defense. You see the way they're playing here over the last month. They're starting to play their best basketball, and their team keeps improving. And you mentioned they're not a one-trick pony, right? I mean, offensively, they put a lot of pressure on you in their transition offense. They're a really, really good half-court offensive team. They're obviously very well coached and have great players, and then they do some great things defensively as well to make it difficult. And then they're a great rebounding team, and that's why they're one of the best teams in college basketball, right? When you can say all these positive things about every aspect of the game, it's going to equal a great team, and this is a great basketball team.
How do you handle a guy like Caleb Love that, seems to have continued to mature? He's not just a volume guy now. He's also playing with a little bit more efficiency, but he's still going to get his 15, 17 shots again. I think he had 33 on 17 shots Monday.
Well, he was I think Pac-12 Player of the Year last year. I think that says enough right there, right? You're talking about one of the elite players a year ago in college basketball that's obviously continued to develop and grow, so he's even better at this point than he was a year ago as the best player in one of the top leagues. So he's a terrific, terrific player. And you could break down his game here, but he's just a terrific, terrific player that's going to cause problems for everybody that's got to face him this year. We're no different. but they're a team that is not about one guy or two guys. I mean, they have a roster full of guys that are really good, but obviously, the returning Pac-12 Player of the Year, preseason first team, Big 12 guy. I haven't looked at all this stuff, but my guess is he's a preseason All-American and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's a terrific player.
That's Wes Miller, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bearcats. Again, a guy that maybe not a known coach, was on the national championship team at North Carolina back in 2005, kind of came up and coached 10-plus years at UNC Greensboro before getting his chance at Cincinnati. They've not had it. They've not gone. Yep, this is his fourth season, like Tommy's fourth season. They've been to a couple of NITs, but they have not gone to the national championship game just yet. So we'll see how that all shakes out for him as he continues on here with this program. But part of that 2005 championship team that beat Illinois, that beat Arizona that year. So kept Arizona out of that.
Darren Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arizona saw that North Carolina team. I think that was the year that was around the time they came to Tucson during that same stretch. So, yeah, I remember Wes. I don't think Wes was like one of the top 7-8 guys, but I remember him getting in for sure.
Yeah, he's kind of who's our guy? Pastner. He's kind of our Josh Pastner kind of guy. All right, Meridian Wealth Management, Arizona Game Day. We're going to take a walk down memory lane. Speaking of the old days, we're going to take a walk back to 1996 coming up next. It is Kelvin Ifan, JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne the Injury Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
The cold Arizona nights are here. Is your furnace ready? For just $59, Rightway is offering a complete system tune-up, ensuring your furnace runs efficiently to keep your home comfortable all season long. Routine maintenance is key to avoiding costly breakdowns. And with over 9,000 five-star Google reviews, you can trust Rightway to get the job done right. Plus, we'll include a free carbon monoxide test for your peace of mind. Call Rightway today at 520-640-2665 or visit us at rightwayac.com for your $59 complete system tune-up.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing for your next set of tires or automotive repair, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
You'll find an entire page of them online at jackfurriers.com. Savings on tires, oil changes, batteries, wheel alignments, and more.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, here to get you there.
Driving the lane, dunking on the competition, and playing as a team. These are things we'll see this season watching our Wildcats play basketball. These happen to be the things you'll also find when you buy your next vehicle from O'Reilly Chevrolet. The only difference is at O'Reilly, nobody gets penalized for traveling. Heck, we actually encourage it. See us on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or find new roads at O'Reilly.com, where you can experience our version of a steal. O'Reilly Chevrolet, more than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Ring Bring in the savings at the Marion Bright sales event at Royal Buick GMC. Jingle all the way with huge savings. Save $14,000 off a new 24 Buick Enclave, or go big and save $16,000 off a new 24 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro Crew Cab, or lease it for $375 a month for 24 months with zero due at signing and all taxes and fees included. Plus, business owners can save even more with federal tax deductions on qualifying vehicles. See dealer for details. B33506, G8449, OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Leases excluded. Lease mileage charge of 20 cents per mile over 10,000 per year. Offers end 1/2/25. Get into a new Buick or GMC this season with nothing out of pocket. The Marion Bright sales event at Royal Buick GMC in the Tucson Auto Mall or RoyalTucson.com.
The Window Depot is more than a window store. The Window Depot is a one-stop warehouse with everything you need for your complete home remodel. Shop the aisles of pre-built cabinets in a variety of colors, granite and quartz countertops, sinks, skylights, and hardware to complete your project. Need a custom order? We can help. Our designers offer free design services and can special order everything you need for your kitchen or bathroom remodel today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
Let's hoop it up! We'll be jamming, we'll hoop it up all weekend long. Everybody driving, all high-fiving, gonna rock till the cows come home.
The country music legend that sang the Open for ABC college basketball back in 1995-96. Do you guys remember who that was? No. J-Dub, any thoughts?
I remember that was the era when every intro for every sport was country western music. That's what I remember.
Yeah, Waylon. The ABC they went Waylon Jennings on Monday Night Football. I had no idea who that was either, so I had to lean on our country music guys. Pork Chop and Buzz Jackson. And Buzz immediately, when I texted him that last night, sent me back and said, that's Travis Tritt. Travis Tritt used to sing the Open. That was the Open on Sunday, February the 11th, the day that the Arizona Wildcats did this.
Welcome, everyone, to Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, Arizona. For the 7-Up shootout today, it is showtime in the desert, folks. Number 5, Cincinnati against the Arizona Wildcats. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mark Jones in the house along with Terry Gannon, and welcome to this interesting matchup of two teams with interesting styles on the Payne-Weber pregame report. Take a look at the starting 5 for the Wildcats, coming in ranked number 15 in the country. Joe McClain, the gunner from outside. Corey Williams, also at forward. Ben Davis, the big man in the middle. Miles Simon, with a career high against UCLA 5 games ago. And Reggie Geary, the man who runs the show from the point, maybe the best defender in the entire nation. And the head coach, the distinguished gentleman from Arizona. Every time I look at Lute Olson, I feel like voting for him for Congress.
You do, don't you? I tell you, you should be in a presidential race right now. But 7 Pac-10 titles for Lute Olson.
Who are they going to go to? Fortson. He can't get it off. Simon throws it up at the buzzer. Oh! Do you believe in miracles? What? Is that for real? Did I just see that?
Lute Olson with win number 500, and he's never experienced a more thrilling one or a more unusual one.
Simon says, throw in the three-pointer to win it.
So I got to throw my guy Mark Jones some love there. First of all, he pulls out the "Do you believe in miracles?" channeling the legendary Al Michaels, in the 1980 Olympic hockeys. Do you believe in miracles? What? Then he clearly pulled out the Simon Says. But I'm sure everybody in that era probably was saying Simon Says when Miles Simon did something good. But he pulls out the Simon Says a year before. Billy Packard did it to win the national championship.
Real quick, on that note, you are a play-by-play. You've spent your entire life studying play-by-play. Isn't puns like rule number one as far as that's concerned? Where find a way to work this person's last name into something that's part of pop culture.
Oh yeah.
I think Simon
Absolutely.
Says that was a crazy number one. Kelvin, I know you played in this game. If people weren't listening earlier, Kelvin talked a bit about getting into that game and making an impact. I just remember that game being super physical. And that Arizona, maybe the offense not being as smooth as possible, a little frustrating, I'm sure, for you guys on the court. But that finish, Kelvin, I mean, that was one of the craziest finishes out of nowhere, 65 feet from Miles.
Yeah, no, we expected it to be physical. We expected it to be a little ugly, but I remember us telling each other that we're going to win an ugly game, and we was ready for that. We knew we were West Coast, and people thought that we was all about jump shots and pretty passes, but we wanted to show that we can compete with the big dogs in the country.
And just an incredible, obviously, win for the Arizona Wildcats. Their Lute Olson's 500th victory. It's interesting, Kelvin, when you look at you've been and you talk about so much how and I saw the tweet you put out earlier this week how 97 football set the stage for 98. 96 basketball, you're on that team, and that clearly helps set the stage for 97 with them.
Clearly, to anybody that knows anything about U of A basketball, that's exactly what happened. That group of guys, we went against Reggie Gary, Joe McLean, Corey Williams, Ben Daisy, Joseph Blair every day. That was the battle. Those guys that you seen in that picture, the Donnell Harris wasn't in the picture, but Donnell Harris as well. It was me, AJ, Miles Simon, Michael Dickerson, and Jason Terry against those guys every day. I'm talking about real wars. They were seniors. We were freshmen and sophomores. And I felt like that, helped shape that team in the championship because we lost in the Sweet 16 to Kansas, and everybody was hurt and couldn't wait to get back to the tournament. So I had a feeling. I hate that. I won't say I hate that I went to football that year, but that was the year I went to football, and I was supposed to go back to basketball. And a guy named Coach Babers, remember him? Coach Babers?
Right.
He told me, you ain't going to the NBA. If you got a legit chance to go to the NFL, if you put in some off-season football training and get in the weight room and put some added weight on, and and I took his advice. I was supposed to go back to the basketball team that year, and I definitely missed it and everything. But I don't regret where I ended up in history with football.
There's parallels, guys, because there are transfers on this team. We know we talked about them a lot, but there's a lot of returning guys on this team that aren't really happy about how last year went. The 93 Final Four came from a loss to East Tennessee State, right? Those guys stuck together, lost first round. East Tennessee State came back. Miami of Ohio, right, was that same era when you guys so that group sticking together, and we're not going to get in the weeds here about NIL and transfer portal and how that's not a part of the landscape of college athletics anymore, Kelvin. But the success you guys had in your senior year in football, that Final Four, that national championship run, having that bad taste in your mouth as a group and then taking that over the summer into your workouts into the next year, that's immeasurable how much that drive from that bad taste of not experiencing the glory of having, a deep run or whatever it was the year before leads towards team success the year after.
You guys right. I was there in Dayton when we lost to Miami of Ohio. We were devastated, right? And we was just thinking that we didn't want to be a part of the teams that were known for losing in the first round. And guess what? Here we are, right? So, I remember every one of those guys, man, making a vow to work all summer and make sure that we put our name in a different light. And that's when we came back, as you said, with that Sweet 16, lost to Kansas in a close game. And I actually played in that. That was my last basketball game. I actually got some playing time in that. And Corey Williams got me. He didn't help. I told you guys about Corey Williams. You know, he supposed to switch out and help me out there, and ended up getting hit by knocked down a 3 by Jared Haas, who's what used to be the Cal coach, right?
Yeah, Stanford
coach.
Yeah.
Okay, so all that history right there, but and then end up winning the national championship, and it was all because of possibly losing that first round game to Miami of Ohio.
That was like Paul Pierce, Jacques Vaughn, right?
Yes, sir. 100%. So man, those played against some great teams, and if they had the one big man too, man, was it Rafe LaFrance?
Yep, Rafe LaFrance.
Yeah. So yeah.
We'll update you real quick. One score on the Goldberg and Osborne injury lawyer scoreboard. Number 10, Kentucky takes down number 6, Florida today. So that's the first loss of the season for the Gators. The Wildcats win despite 33 points from Walter Clayton Jr. for Florida. It was Lamont Butler with 19 points, 8 assists, and 3 steals. All right, let's find out what this Arizona-Cincinnati game looks like on the big board at the Desert Diamond Casino.
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, Arizona is a 2.5-point favorite today. The over-under on this game is 147.5. Right now, I've got a 4-game advantage over Kelvin and a 5-game advantage over J-Dub. So I'm gonna. Should I go first? I'll let you guys decide. You want me to go first since I'm winning?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'll go first. I feel good. I haven't had a lot of good feelings about this team, Arizona, when they've gone on the road, but I like the way that they played against TCU. I like the fight that they showed and be able to come. Again, it was a game I thought they'd win by more, I'll be honest there. And then, obviously, I took the Arizona and gave the points that day. But I don't know that they're a 2.5-point underdog in this game. So I'm taking U of A and the 2.5 at Cincinnati today.
Yeah, and man, it's as much as I want to take that as well. I just think on the road, first game.
Still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, still haven't seen it yet, and
Okay.
I just know that these guys just lost, man, and they want to get to the tournament. This coach is desperate to get to the tournament. And so it's just tough for me to see. I think they end up beating us by 3.
Yeah, I mentioned fourth year. They've been to 2 NITs, but no NCAA tournaments yet with Wes Miller. J-Dub?
Yeah, it's so tough. I mean, I think Arizona's proven to struggle in road games so far, Atlantis and whatever, and when they're not in front of the confines of the McHale crowd. That being said, I agree with you, DK. I really like the connectivity that Arizona's playing with right now. I think a lot of the roles have been ironed out. Everybody didn't want to see Mo Krivas go out, but with him out, some of those guys, Vasar, have stepped into roles and are much more confident. So I really like the way Arizona's playing. So I will say Arizona's going to win this game by a short margin, 1, 2, 3 points, one bucket, maybe at the most 4. But yeah, I will take Arizona and the points.
All right. So J-Dub and I take Arizona and the points. Kelvin is laying the 2.5 and taking Cincinnati. Over-under is 147.5, so it's a little bit higher than what we saw the other night. And obviously, just like TCU, the plan is probably to try to hold down Arizona and keep them under 75 points. What do you think, Kelvin, on the over-under?
I'm going under. I think it's going to be a fist fight. I think they're going to slow it down a little bit. They like to run their offense and take a little time off the clock. So, yeah, I'm going under.
I'm going to go 147.5. I'm going to go over. I think it's going to be – I just feel it's going to be – I think Arizona's going to get their points. Cincinnati might score with them. I just think it's going to be a higher scoring game today in Cincinnati. So I'll go over.
I agree. I think the difference between that low number for TCU is TCU guys came in shooting 41% as a team from the field. This Cincinnati team, like Kelvin said, they're running like 8 guys out there. They're right around 48, 49% from the field. Much more efficient offensive team. They've got all the pieces. So I think it's going to be a little higher scoring game than that number, probably closer to 155.
All right, so J-Dub and I are in total agreement. Kelvin might be making a move today if it comes out his way. Those are your best bets.
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Happy New Year and welcome to 2025. It's a new year, but we still have air conditioning and heating systems at last year's prices. We have high-efficient inverter systems for as low as $89 a month. For year-round comfort, call Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing at 520-492-0748 or picturoxcooling.com.
Picturox Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Honey, our yard's full of weeds. Looks like a jungle and the neighbors are complaining.
I know. I'm trying to get rid of them, but the product I'm using, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Not to mention, I don't have the time.
But it's not just weeds.
It's not?
No, I'm seeing ants.
Ants?
Yeah, and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
I know, and I think I saw a scorpion.
No way.
Yes way, and there's a pack rat in our garage.
Ew. Okay, I'll call University Termite and Pest Control today. We'll get rid of all of them.
Okay, honey, thank you.
University Termite and Pest Control, locally owned. Find them online at bepestfree.com.
Make the right choice for your home when it comes to windows and doors. For more than 20 years, the Window Depot has provided the best price and biggest inventory on in-stock windows and doors. The Window Depot is open to the public, so whether you're a homeowner or a contractor, you can shop the enormous warehouse. Browse the shelves with over 1,000 vinyl windows, interior and patio doors, and skylights in several varieties and sizes available to go home today. Shop thewindowdepot.com or find a location near you. The Window Depot, best price, biggest inventory.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Hit the community trails, explore local parks like Saguaro National and Colossal Cave, and mingle at private Diamond Community Park events. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rock & Kay is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 11 different model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in ready homes and special incentives. Live RockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Don't hold back. Just dive right in. This is Desert Diamond. The round-the-clock, off-the-charts, over-the-top spectacle that puts a shine on any day, anytime. The tables are hot to the touch. The slots are spinning winners every day. And the point spreads are yours for the taking. So go ahead. Live the diamond life. Desert Diamond Casino. Visit ddcaz.com.
An enterprise of the Thama Autumn Nation.
Do you trust those in charge of your financial future? Trust is founded on 3 core principles: competence, honesty, and benevolence. Those making decisions about your financial future should always place your best interest ahead of their own. I'm Natalie Fernandez-Lee, and at Meridian Wealth Management, fostering trusted relationships with our clients is our top priority. Call us at 719-1433 or visit meridianwealthllc.com to learn more today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Our Window Depot coverage of U of A basketball continues. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show on Wildcats Radio 1290. Now back to your hosts, David Kelly, the Captain Kelvin Ifan, and J.W. Madden.
We've been taking you down memory lane to 1996 when Miles Simon hit a three-quarter court shot to lift Arizona over Cincinnati. Let's hear how it sounded that day on the radio here in Tucson.
LeGree to inbound. Goes inbounds to Fortson as the ball knocked away. Stolen. Simon from midcourt. Goal! Oh, the Wildcats have won it! The Wildcats have won it! The shot of the year!
Miles Simon from midcourt, and the Wildcats win it 79-76.
Brian Jeffries, the legendary Brian Jeffries, who might call some magic today at the Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, obviously on the call in 1996 for that dramatic Arizona win. As you heard from our interview with Scott Springer, they're expecting standing room only today at the game, even though obviously we're still in the break and the students are off. But Arizona's coming to town, and this is a big-time ball game. And it's interesting, guys, because now when you look at this now, 4 new teams coming into this league, but on the basketball side, this is the team. This is the one of those 4 teams that when the Wildcats go on the road, they're gonna probably be facing a lot of sold out arenas because of who they are.
Oh, 100%, man. With the, Arizona brand coming into these teams, I mean, people like playing big names, and Arizona is one of those names. They're names that have been mentioned. And then you think about all the NBA players and stuff that's been around the program. So teams know exactly who we are on the East Coast. I remember going over to play Rhode Island, and it was packed. we way on the East Coast. We go play Rhode Island in Gotham City. I feel like it was Gotham City.
Think about
right?
it.
And it's packed, right? So it's just one of those things when that brand brings the crowd out.
Think about it like this, too. Like, Arizona grads don't generally settle in Tucson historically. They're spread around the entire country. You hear that when you hear U of A chants in Cameron Indoor Stadium. So going into a new league, Arizona's only played this team, Cincinnati, 4 times in their history. You know who would fill up their home stadium, DK, if the Cincinnati fans didn't? Arizona fans from that region of the country. So all of the athletic departments across the Big 12, I guarantee you that's part of the conversation. Let's make sure that we get our guys, our people in our buildings when Arizona Wildcats come to town, because that's a program that travels really, really well. And so it's twofold. We want to go see the new, quote unquote big dogs in the conference or whatever. And also we know Arizona fans spread all over the country. We've heard them in every single gym there is. Last thing you want to hear is U of A chants down the stretch of a game the first time that team comes to your building.
Wes Miller, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bearcats, was asked to take a walk down memory lane this week.
It has nothing to do with this game, but do you remember Miles Simon at all?
Of course.
96, he heaves in a 65-footer at the buzzer. And
here?
No. It was 7-up shootout in Phoenix.
Okay.
UC was number 5.
Yeah.
And he throws one in.
I was 14. Don't remember that. And, guys know I care about my basketball history and certainly my Cincinnati basketball history, but I was 14. I just remember watching that Arizona team, whatever year it was, making the run through the NCAA tournament with Mike Bibby and Miles Simon and Jason Terry, and there's some others. that was a great team. And actually it probably wasn't as good of a team all year as it was a great team through that run, and that's just that's what made March Madness special. But I do remember that as a kid for sure. But I didn't know that he hit a shot on Cincinnati. So now I don't like Miles Simon as much, and I did. just kidding.
He said just kidding at the end there if you missed that part. Good stuff there from Wes Miller. All right, let's find out what the Wildcats need to do to win this game today.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
Keys to the game, Arizona and Cincinnati for the first time ever in the Queen City. They've played a lot of neutral site games in their past, but today will be in Cincinnati. They practiced. The Wildcats did at Xavier. Sean Miller opened the doors to the facility. He was not there, but nice. I mean, we didn't really elaborate on that, but nice move by Sean to allow the team to come in there and practice at Xavier.
Yeah, no, I thought that was real classy. Being that he had the history with the Wildcat program, to be able to, open the doors, let the guys come in there. But I also thought that it was a little slight toward Cincinnati. I thought it was more about that.
Oh, okay.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Well,
Showing
yeah,
Cincinnati
they just played that rivalry game. Yeah.
Right. You are our true enemy. And one way I'm going to show you is I'm going to let Arizona practice in our place. So I think it's love for Arizona, but I also think it's disdain for was that Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I think for me, I think one of the things I think is going to be important in this game for Arizona is just a fast start, because this was a Cincinnati team that kind of struggled out of the gate in their loss to Kansas City. And if you can get in their head early, I mentioned they turned the ball over excessively in that ball game against Kansas State. So if you can get in their head early and get them thinking back to what happened on Monday night in Manhattan, you might have the advantage. So a fast start's going to be important. I think if you can get them above 10 turnovers again in this ball game, that's going to be very good for Arizona. Keep our turnovers down like we did on Monday night against TCU. Continue, obviously, with what you've been doing with not just necessarily the high assists, but just, moving the basketball, moving people, not static offense. Cutters go into the basket. Continue that. I think if the Wildcats continue to be active on offense in that respect, they're going to have a pretty good day today in Cincinnati against these Bearcats.
Yes, and for me is early offense. I think once these guys get back and once Cincinnati get back and set their defense, they're tough to score on. So early offense, scoring within the first 10 seconds of the clock, I think really gives us an advantage to being able to get better shots than trying to run our offense versus these guys. They really on ball defenders really love to steal the ball, get hands on balls, double team. So our guys are going to have to be strong with the ball like they was against TCU again. And then also they play a 4-out, 1-in. I think our defense is going to be huge in this game. They're 4-out, 1-in. It looks like a 5-out. The way they pop it, a lot of the way the big picks and pop sometimes. Pay attention to how deep these guys are. They go at least 4 to 5 feet beyond the three-point line, and I think our guys are going to have to really get out and cover to make sure they don't get easy shots, but also be ready to help from the backside because they love to penetrate.
Yeah, all great points, both of you guys. To me, defensive discipline is a huge key for me today. This team's coming in, they're deep. They got 7-8 guys they're running out there. 48% as a team, as I mentioned earlier. Stay down on ball fakes. Make sure you close out on the three-point shooters. We've seen when Arizona struggles sometimes when defenders get lost in those scrambles. Number 2, you got to dominate the boards. Got size and length advantages here. That's a pretty standard one for me. That should be the identity for this team pretty much every single game outside of going against certain front lines. And third of all, I think shot selection for me is a big key because we've seen this Arizona team, the offense specifically, struggle at times when the offense gets bogged down, a little bit too much one-on-one. Stick to the principles that Coach Lloyd has instilled in the team, that flow offense. Make sure you're looking for each other, and make sure you do not settle. I'd like to see less than 25 three-pointers. I don't want to see them fall in love with that three-point shot. Keep running the offense, get good looks, find each other. Those are my keys.
Yeah, the boards is going to be important today, I think, in this contest. I mean, when you look at Arizona, they average 42 a game. They've lost 4 games when they've not gotten to that 40 number. Duke, Oklahoma, West Virginia, UCLA, those are the games they've lost when they've not gotten to that 40 number, all games against Power 4 teams. So if they can get to that number today, it's going to be a good day in Cincinnati.
Wildcats fans, that's our keys to the game. Brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
All right, quick starting lineup for you as the Wildcats will throw out your 3-guard look today. It'll be Caleb Love along with Jaden Bradley and Anthony Del Orso, Trey Townsend, Toby Waka at the forwards. That's going to wrap up our pregame show. Coming up next, Arizona and number 16, Cincinnati from the Queen City. Brian Jeffries and Reggie Geary on the call for J.W. Madden and our guy Kelvin Ifan. I'm David Kelly. Have a great afternoon. Bear Down, Arizona. We'll talk to you afterwards.
Our Window Depot coverage of Arizona basketball continues. This is Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day. Hour 3 of the pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, Drain Medics, First Choice Pools, Goldberg and Osborne the Idri Lawyers, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Showtime Sports Cards, Tucson Police Department, and by Meridian Wealth Management. Wealth well managed, life well lived.
There There are many reasons you might need Dorado Rockin' Materials. A few bare spots in the yard, the driveway needs filling in, or it could be that the yard needs a whole makeover. Whatever the reason, if your yard has the summertime blues, Dorado Rockin' Materials has everything from sand to boulders and every rock and pebble in between. If you need help spreading it, we have options for that too. Call 400-4233. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
If you're suffering from back pain and your physician is giving you a back brace or a pain pill or an injection and not explain the process of what you have and how to rehabilitate yourself, then there might be something missing. I'm Tom Corey. I'm a physiatrist.